The moment he transmigrated, his drop-dead, gorgeous girlfriend dumped him in public. He figured he'd landed in some run-of-the-mill urban romance setup. But out of nowhere, a cold mechanical voice echoed in his mind. System alert. Spiritual energy revival will begin in 1 year. The world as he knows it will collapse into chaos and apocalypse. While he was still dazed, the system dropped a bombshell gift. Congratulations, host. Binding complete. Passive skill unlocked. Auto creation of cultivation techniques. Meanwhile, breaking news hit the airwaves. Fishermen discovered a colossal abalone along the coast, so massive it took 10 men to surround it, suspected to be a mutated product of nuclear waste. In a top-tier national park, ancient trees were growing out of control. Roots sprawled for miles, drawing swarms of stunned tourists. Fissures split the earth wide open, veins of power stirring beneath, and monstrous vines descended from the sky, as if fairy tales were bleeding into reality. The entire campus was buzzing, not about the so-called spiritual awakening news, but with the usual clickbait takes. Mutant monsters and world-ending signs sounded just as ridiculous as that corpse-biting scandal in a neighboring country years ago. None of that mattered compared to today's real headline. Campus goddess Chu Qingli was breaking up with her boyfriend. Live. I mean, come on, she's been slumming it. She already got early admission to Qingqing University, and that guy can't even pass the national exam. Their futures aren't even in the same league. What was his name again? Fong something. Chu Qingli finally spoke, her tone calm but firm. Fong Yi, I've thought it through. What we have, it's just not realistic anymore. High school romances always hit that moment of truth. Maybe this is ours. We're just not right for each other. To walk hand in hand for life, you need courage and compatibility. So let's break up. Deep down, she sneered, whatever stunt you try now, I won't change my mind. But to her surprise, Fong Yi said nothing at all. The crowd went wild. Why isn't he saying anything? Did he snap? That's Chu Qingli. I'd be on my knees begging by now. Seriously, guy looks like a total loser. Way out of her league. Just as the mockery peaked, Fong Yi finally raised his head. His voice was calm, emotionless. All right, if that's all, I'll be going. Chu Qingli was caught off guard. Was he acting cool? Or had he truly stopped caring? She blurted out, I don't care what you're thinking. Whatever tricks you try, there's no way I'll ever get back with you. Got that? But he simply looked at her like she was some kind of clown performing for free. With a voice colder than ice, he said, Don't flatter yourself. I've got better things to do than waste time on a joke. Then he turned and walked away. No hesitation, no second glance. Only he knew the truth. Neither Chu Qingli nor these gawking classmates had the slightest clue about the catastrophe looming ahead. Money? Status? Academic clout? All of it would turn to ash. He wasn't just some jilted student. He was a man reborn from the ashes of a ruined future. As for Chu Qingli, she was just a fleeting memory. Right now, he had bigger things to care about. A campus goddess? Public opinion? Let the world burn, because soon it would. The real threat was the chaos creeping in from the cracks. Humanity itself was on the brink. And it all began with the message that flashed in his mind last night. Alert! Full-scale spiritual revival will begin in 364 days, 11 hours and 59 minutes. Once activated, irreversible changes will sweep across the world. The rules of the old world were about to collapse. In the new era, only one thing would define worth: raw, unyielding power. Hearing the voice in his mind, Fong Yi shouted, Wait! Who are you? A translucent panel appeared before him, answering coldly. Origin, Cosmic Core. This system contains the ultimate algorithm, capable of generating cultivation techniques based on spiritual items the host interacts with. Current techniques, 0. He instinctively reached out to touch the panel, only for his hand to pass right through it. Suddenly, a colossal beast burst from the screen, roaring as it charged. But what chilled Fong Yi to the bone was the mangled corpse in the monster's mouth. His corpse. The system's voice returned, emotionless. That is the fate of your former self, and the fate awaiting billions across Blue Star. The words dragged open the gates of memory. In his past life, he had been nothing more than a powerless bystander. He clung to survival, just trying to outlast the apocalypse. But he watched his country fall, his people slaughtered. No matter how hard he ran, The mutated beast caught him. He died in despair, his final breath filled with fury and vengeance. Perhaps it was that rage that summoned the system to him. And now, reborn, 1 year before the spiritual revival begins, he returns with fire in his veins and a second chance to change everything. Right now, most people hadn't sensed the awakening of spiritual energy, but he had. And in this gap before the world caught on, he would seize every anomaly and make it his own. A blinding light engulfed him, and his surroundings shifted. Then came a voice, calm, commanding, mechanical. System recalibration complete. Host successfully bound. Initiating new cultivation pathway. Everything in existence can now serve as raw material for custom cultivation techniques. Gather strength, refine your powers, and rise as a cultivator, one capable of saving this crumbling world. The scene snapped back to reality. A massive street-side screen was playing breaking news. Humanity is facing an unprecedented threat. There is no precedent, no historical guidebook. We must adapt or perish. Fong immediately noticed the government wasn't downplaying the strange phenomena anymore, nor were they offering hollow reassurances. Instead, they urged the public to prepare. That in itself was the clearest sign. In the past, anything bordering on the supernatural would have been suppressed and buried. But now, it was everywhere. A soft warning, unmistakably intentional. This was how Xi'an Nation always handled crises, quietly, rationally, and with subtle trust building, guiding the people to stay calm and believe in their country. Sure, his method was slower. None of that zero-cost minigun rampage stuff other transmigrators got. But it worked. Better, cleaner, stronger. The system had said, all things can serve as source material. That meant wherever there was an anomaly, that's where he needed to be. He unlocked his phone and immediately spotted the top trending headline. Chingcheng University issues heat warning to incoming students, UV intensity at record levels. Highest in a century. Nearby, 2 students scoffed while scrolling the same article. Great. Now universities are chasing clout? Come on, UV this strong would kill people. Fake news. Probably a paid, trending tag. Fong, he looked up at the sky. Thick clouds, heavy as lead. It looked like a storm was coming. But Chingcheng was just 15 minutes away. Why the weather gap? His screen displayed the reported temperature, 74 degrees Celsius. That was no glitch. Something was seriously off. Most people would shrug this off as clickbait. Another exaggerated headline. But not him. He knew this was it. His first real opportunity. In a flash, he arrived at the northern gate of Chingcheng University, the quietest entrance. The moment he stepped foot inside, the air felt different. Something unnatural surged beneath the surface. He crouched down, fingers brushing against a strange layer of golden dust. Then the system spoke again, detected extreme Yang-type fluctuations. Unlocking Yang attribute template. In a heartbeat, streams of blazing gold energy shot upward, crashing into his body like divine fire. Agony tore through him, like every bone was melting and reforming in sacred light. His body erupted with golden brilliance, illuminating the entire north gate like a walking sun. All around the campus, students were freaking out. Holy crap, am I hallucinating? Is that a super scion? Meanwhile, Fong, he was barely holding it together. Gritting his teeth, he shouted in desperation. Is it done yet? I feel like I'm about to explode. Just as his mind was going numb, the system chimed in, compilation complete. You have acquired Yang-type cultivation technique, Golden Sun breathing method. Meanwhile, over at the main entrance of Chingcheng University, orientation was in full swing. A crowd of upperclassmen had surrounded a cold-looking girl, eager to offer help. Hey, need help with your luggage? Which dorm are you heading to? I can walk you there. Here's our club's flyer. Want to scan the QR code? Maybe drop your contact. But Chu Qingli brushed them all off with an icy, thanks. But no, she had barely finished her sentence when a thunderous boom echoed from the north side of campus. Moments later, the loudspeakers came to life. Emergency alert. Extreme heat anomaly detected near the north gate. All students are advised to evacuate the area immediately. Hearing the explosion, Chu Qingli frowned. Another anomaly? Something's definitely going on. I need to check it out. Back at the north gate, Fong Yi was steadily recovering as the solar energy finished merging with his body. The panel lit up. Gaze upon the sun, breathe in its blaze. Begin body refinement using the golden sun breathing method. Technique acquired automatically. No study required. You have received 50 script points. Fong Yi squinted at the new stat. Script points? What the hell are those supposed to do? Whatever. Looks useful. I'll figure out how they work later. As the solar anomaly faded, the blinding heat dissipated, and the sky slowly returned to normal. Students began gathering nearby, murmuring to each other. Did anyone else feel the sun vanish for a sec? I swear it got cooler all of a sudden. Come on, let's go. Something wild happened at the North Gate. Just then, the university principal stormed onto the scene, shouting, "Why are you all crowding here? Didn't I text you to stay away? Get to orientation, or I'm docking your credits." Grumbling, the students reluctantly began to disperse. As the crowd thinned out, a woman in a dark cloak stepped forward. Her tone was calm but firm. Re-establish the perimeter. Seal off the entire Northgate sector. Meanwhile, Fong Yi's system chimed once more. You have successfully purified Grade A contaminated zone. Qingqing University, Northgate. Contaminated zones were officially classified areas by the Xian Nation, sites where spiritual anomalies had triggered sudden energy surges. Their danger levels varied, but all carried extreme risk. As Fong Yi stared at the terms contaminated zone and official tag, his heart skipped a beat. Wait, does this mean I'm not the only one? Before he could think further, a loud alarm blared nearby. Warning, Northgate sector is now sealed. All unauthorized personnel must evacuate immediately. He glanced over and spotted uniformed military officers approaching the area. His expression darkened. Crap, this got too big. They've already sent people in. Without hesitation, he melted into the crowd and slipped away from the scene. Moments later, the cloaked woman arrived at the North Gate. She knelt down, scooped some of the golden dust from the ground, and brought it to her nose. Her eyes widened in shock. This isn't a natural occurrence. It was artificially triggered. Could there be another who's awakened early? Not far from her, Chu Qingli overheard the words artificial and spiritual energy, her mind reeling. What? Something that terrifying caused by a person. A figure flashed in her memory. Wait, was that Fong Yi? But she quickly shook her head. Don't be ridiculous, Chu Qingli. With his grades? There's no way he'd even get into Qingcheng, let alone be here. Cut to Fong Yi's apartment. He lay sprawled across his bed, shirtless, panting heavily as steam rolled off his skin. What the hell? This heat, it's still inside me. Why want to go away? Even cold showers and blasting the AC weren't helping. The scorching energy inside him kept surging. At this rate, he wouldn't be getting any sleep tonight. Hold up, that whole light show earlier. Did anyone notice? I should check the news. He opened his phone and instantly spotted the top trending topic. Spiritual Cultivation Association releases official realm classification. Spiritual Cultivation Association? The name rang a faint bell. Weren't they some weird online group that occasionally posted cultivation manuals? Most people thought it was a roleplay gimmick or some fringe spiritual cult. Wait a second. The people I saw earlier at Qingqing University, could they have been from this association? He quickly tapped the link. A structured list popped up on screen. Realm 1. Ghostsmith. Refine the body using the divine craftsmanship of natural energy. Forge a weapon of flesh. Realm 2. Spiritcraft. Channel the forces of nature to awaken ancestral bloodlines and cultivate inner energy. The list continued, 3rd realm, 4th, all the way to the ultimate realm. At the bottom was a friendly reminder. As spiritual revival accelerates, this classification is provided to prevent confusion. Cultivators are advised to self-assess and proceed with caution. Staring at the screen, Fong Yi murmured, the descriptions sound mystical, sure, but the layout, the watermark, it's classic Xian Nation format. This looks legit. In my previous life, I never even heard of this association. As a powerless civilian, I wasn't anywhere near this kind of info. By the time the world changed, I was already too deep in survival mode. Just staying alive cost everything. So this Spiritual Cultivation Association, maybe it's the government's way of signaling early awakeners. Fine, I'll follow their lead and reactivate the Golden Sun breathing method. Step 1. Refine the body into chi. Forge it into a vessel worthy of holding natural energy. Step 2. Manipulate chi to shape the form of the ghostsmith's divine axe. Fong, he looked up. A shimmer danced across his vision. Wait, is this what they meant by ghostsmith? At that moment, the system chimed in. Congratulations! You've reached Realm 1. Ghostsmith, 1 star. Script point function unlocked. You may now forcibly implant your compiled data into any object. Available script points, 50. Fong Yi's eyes lit up. Almost forgot about those. So compiled data means things like the golden sun breathing method, and implanting means what exactly? He glanced at the glass cup on his desk. Would this count as an object? Instantly, the cup glowed faintly gold. A prompt appeared. Consume script points to infuse yang attribute into this item. A small smile tugged at his lips. So that's what it means, infusing attributes. Like enchanting items. If I say yes, this cup becomes a yang-enhanced artifact. But what if it was a gun? Or a sword? Could I forge my own personalized spirit weapon? From the look of it, I'll collect more attributes down the line. A custom-crafted, attribute-bound weapon. That could be my ace in the apocalypse. Fingering the glowing cup, Fong Yi muttered, "You'll do for a test run. If it works, I'll forge a true weapon. Maybe something cast in spirit fire. Gotta be fully armed for the monsters coming soon." But just as he was preparing for the future, a rustling sound echoed from the bushes below his apartment. In the next instant, a mutated rabbit with matted red fur and glowing eyes emerged into the street. It was gnawing ferociously on a man's corpse. Midnight came and went. As Fong Yi slept, a high-pitched squeaking stirred him awake. He frowned. Mice? That didn't come from my room. Not the plumbing either. Maybe someone's pet rat. Though I just stepped into Ghostsmith realm. I guess heightened hearing means I can pick up sound from other apartments too. But something felt off. The noise wasn't fading. It was getting closer. He sat up, tense. The sound, it was moving. He threw open the door. A chill ran down his spine. It wasn't just noise. Something was walking. Suddenly, a black blur dropped from above, lunging straight at him, eyes wide. Fong Yi barely dodged and caught sight of the attacker. A mutated rabbit beast with jagged claws and glowing red eyes. An aberration. Damn, even with my past life's memories, seeing one up close still gives me chills. Cut to the sky. A military helicopter hovered over the city, its blades chopping through the night. Over the comms, a voice crackled with urgency. Target still not secured. The mutated rabbit that devoured the Dark Knight spirit fruit has evaded capture. It's too fast. A black-clad woman studied her scanner, then bolted toward the cityscape. She just caught a trace of the beast's lingering aura. Dark Knight aura reacquired, she reported. Target has entered a densely populated residential zone, 20 kilometers from our position. HQ responded immediately. All squads converge. Do not let escape. If we lose control here, every civilian in that district is at risk. Be advised, mutation is incomplete, but further evolution is highly likely. This thing could become even stronger. Stay sharp. Meanwhile, back in Fong Yi's apartment, the mutated rabbit lunged. Fangs bared, hunger blazing in its eyes. At the last second, his eyes flared with golden light. His body vanished in a golden blur, dodging the strike with ease. Whoa, he thought. Post-breakthrough, my body's a whole different beast. I can see its movements like slow motion, and my reflexes, they're insane. But this kind of creature showing up so soon. It's not even fully evolved yet, not like the ones I saw later in my past life. The Dark Knight attribute, at this stage, only makes it more vicious, more unstable. No choice. I have to kill it tonight, or everyone in this building is dead. With no hesitation, Fong Yi lunged and grabbed the beast mid-leap. Gripping tight, he spun with full force. Its weakness is the tail. He hurled it out the window and jumped after it, eyes blazing, ready to finish what he started. Fong Yi clenched his right fist. Golden energy surged and coiled around it, blazing like a miniature sun. With a roar, he struck. His fist pierced clean through the mutated rabbit's chest. But to his shock, the beast opened its jaws and began absorbing the residual yang energy from his strike. You're trying to absorb solar energy? Fong Yi growled. You're mad. The sun's power is pure destruction. It'll tear you apart. As if on cue, a deafening boom erupted. The rabbit's body detonated from within, exploding into a mess of gore and burning fur. Fong, he stepped back, eyes scanning the scorched ground. That thing, it was starving, desperate to devour every ounce of power in me. Even with its Dark Knight attribute, it lunged at a natural counter like Yang energy. It wasn't just mutated, it was ravenous. Beast mutations have already begun. If I were still that powerless nobody from my past life, everyone here would have been torn apart tonight. I need more than one technique. I need to gather as many powers as possible if I want to stand chance. Moments later, the black-clad woman arrived, her boots crunching on ash and debris. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she saw the remains. It's dead. Someone actually killed it. After confirming the area was secure, the black-clad woman reported through her comms. Target confirmed dead. Corpse is fragmented, beginning retrieval of remaining Dark Knight energy. But the moment her hand touched the residual energy on the ground, she recoiled slightly. It was burning hot. In that heat, she sensed a shockingly pure Yang attribute. It was exactly like the one she detected at Chingchun University's North Gate. This can't be a coincidence, she muttered, then quickly called HQ. The rabbit wasn't killed by me. A new pioneer has emerged. High purity Yang attribute. HQ responded immediately. You're saying the North Gate purification event and the mutated rabbit, both were caused by the same person? And this person is only at Ghostsmith 1 star, yet has such pure elemental energy. Yes, same signature, same Yang attribute. There's no record of anyone like this in our database. Someone this gifted. We need to make contact. Fast. Suspend your current mission. Priority 1 is finding this pioneer. Log their data. If possible, persuade them to join the Spiritual Cultivation Association. The woman nodded. Understood. But first, I need a milk tea. Despite the nonchalant tone, her thoughts were racing. Whoever this person is, they're a game changer. HQ's right. With power like that, we need them on our side, no matter what. Fong, he gazed out the window, sunlight spilling across his room. Morning is the key to the day, he murmured. And today's sunlight is blazing just right. Waking early really does help with cultivation. Bathe in the first light of dawn. The golden sun breathing method flows more smoothly than ever. Since reaching the Ghostsmith realm, he could feel his cultivated chi manifesting as threads of golden energy, gently coiling around the phantom form of a divine axe within him. After only a few breaths of practice, something shifted. His eyes snapped open. Already another breakthrough? The axe felt lighter, noticeably so. He smirked. Cultivation really is like chopping wood. Nothing fancy, just persistence. Clenching the axe with both hands, he swung, and the air itself split with a sonic crack. Right on cue, the system chimed. Congratulations. You've reached Ghostsmith Realm. 2 stars. The power surged through his body. Muscles tightened. Blood roared like a river in flood. That was fast, he admitted. But I guess it's because I hadn't fully burned through the momentum from my last breakthrough. From here on, I need to build it step by step. No shortcuts. His gaze shifted to the package beside him, his newly delivered, fully forged weapon. I can't keep training here. The phenomena I trigger are getting way too loud. I need a new, quieter place. Cut to the Spiritual Cultivation Association's headquarters. A senior officer answered the phone, his tone sharp. Solar energy spike detected again? Let me guess it's him. Meanwhile, Fong, he had made his way to a secluded riverside, far from the city. Consume script points to infuse Yang attribute into this item. He had the prompt and thought back. Last time I tried this with a figurine, it technically worked, but the thing melted. Guess not every object can handle infused power. But this blade, it's different. It feels like it was born from the same energy flowing through me. We're perfectly synced. Moments later, the system confirmed. Yang attribute successfully embedded. Fong, he gave the blade a few swings. Fluid, balanced, powerful. Now this is a real weapon. Let's see what you can really do. Raising the sword high, it erupted in a burst of radiant gold light. Like a piece of the sun itself had descended. With a shout, he slashed toward the distant horizon. A golden arc shot forth, slicing across the lake's surface, sending waves crashing like a tidal surge. Fong Yi watched the resulting geyser of water explode into the sky. Phew, that was close. almost scorched the entire forest. He glanced at the rising smoke. Yeah, this is way too flashy. Time to vanish again. Not long after Fong Yi had left, a figure rushed onto the scene, visibly out of breath and fuming. You gotta be kidding me. I was just getting a milk tea, missed him again by this much. Ugh, this is totally a cursed week. But the moment she saw the scorched riverside, she froze. What the hell did that walking disaster do this time? How am I supposed to restore this place? Is there a hotline for elemental disasters? She groaned. Great, another report. The cleanup team's gonna roast me alive. Ever since that guy showed up, it's been one supernatural mess after another. Her mood shifted quickly when she spotted the lingering energy signature nearby. Eyes widening, she muttered, no way. He was only Ghostsmith 1-star last night. Now he's already 2-star. And that energy residue, it's refined, structured. Don't tell me. He's crafted a spirit weapon? Spirit weapons, or Lingbing, were forged by perfectly fusing elemental attributes into weapons, amplifying their power far beyond the norm. But spirit weapons are crazy rare. Even our association only has 2, and the energy core tech isn't even fully rolled out yet. So how'd he pull off? She stood silent for a moment, then forced a laugh. Yeah, right. I'm just overthinking this. No way he pulled all that off in one night. First things first, time to cool this river down before it starts boiling fish. Meanwhile, Fong Yi walked home deep in thought. I've got a Yang-type weapon now, but the system never said I'm limited to just that. Could I collect other attributes too? The system once said I could compile various functions. Anything in existence could become a scripting material. So if I acquire other attributes later, can I stack them onto this same weapon? Just then his phone buzzed. A message popped up. Hey, are you a pioneer too? Sorry, I checked your browser history. Notice you've been following all the recent spiritual energy anomaly threads. You even bookmarked the weird building post. I've got a few friends, pioneers like us. We meet up often, and we're looking for others who've awakened too. Fong Yi frowned. I forgot to turn on privacy mode, he replied. Yeah, I'm a newbie. The stranger responded almost instantly. That's awesome. How's your cultivation coming along? Managed to enter a realm yet? Man, that purification sigil trial is brutal. Rumor is even the national team elites are just mid-level ghostsmiths right now. So hey, we're basically on the same level. That last line made Fong Yi pause. So even the government's formal combat units are just at ghostsmith level. The stranger continued. By the way, I've got a juicy leak, new contaminated zone just popped up. Want to form a squad? Safer in numbers. We split the loot. Fong Yi's interest sharpened. Send me the location. Moments later, a compressed file arrived. Dark River Molten Dragon, full dossier.zip. Opening it, he found detailed data on a newly formed contaminated area. Dark River Furnace.it was once an underground river created by tectonic shifts, but thanks to the anomalies, the water had turned into molten lava. The entire zone was now a seething cauldron of heat and spiritual energy. Fong Yi's eyes glinted. A perfect match for my Yang attribute. This could be a gold mine. Without hesitation, he replied, I'm in. Let's squad up. Cut to a remote forested area in the Binmu district. A young man in tactical gear muttered impatiently, Zhang, when's this friend of yours supposed to show up? Another replied, Hey, credit where it's due. Your map and dossier made it super easy to find this place. Zhang Xiaya laughed modestly. It was nothing. I should be thanking you both for joining the expedition. He'll be here soon. Once we're inside, let's watch each other's backs. Though she smiled on the surface, her thoughts told a different story. What a shame. These two seem decent, but I don't sense much potential. I was hoping to find a standout pioneer to recommend to the association. Zhang Xiaoyao was no ordinary explorer. She was a cultural division officer of the Spiritual Cultivation Association. She knew a secret most pioneers didn't. The association was actually a front for a state-run agency. Becoming an official member wasn't just hard, it was nearly impossible without the right connections. I barely made it in myself after endless tests and some heavy family favors. If this mission turns up empty again, I'm probably in for another soul-crushing week of overtime. Just as she sighed, someone called out, Is that Fong? Sure enough, Fong Yi approached calmly and greeted them. Nice to meet you all. Zhang Xiaya turned around, her eyes scanning him with professional instinct. So young and if I'm not mistaken, already Ghostsmith 2-star. There's something about him. His presence is strong, but not overbearing. It's warm, steady. That's rare. Quickly regaining her composure, she raised her voice with a smile. Great. Now that everyone's here, let's move out. Once inside the zone, Fangyi calmly said, I'll take the lead. You handle the light. Hearing that, Zhang Xiaoya felt a flicker of warmth. Got it, Fangji. Just be careful. Watch out for loose rocks. The rest of the group kept chatting as they walked. I thought everything in here turned to lava. A water droplet just landed on me. I almost screamed. Honestly, it's not as hot as I expected. Maybe we're not near the core yet. If anyone's getting tired, say something. Safety comes first. No hero acts. Fangyi listened quietly, thoughts stirring. I joined last, but they're treating me like one of their own. Whether it's genuine friendliness or just wanting someone reliable in this chaos, it feels real. Suddenly, Fangyi halted mid-step. His expression sharpened. Everyone followed his gaze and gasped. Molten red liquid bubbled and flowed across the path ahead. Lava! That's actual lava! But before anyone could react, Fangyi darted forward without hesitation. Zhang Xiaoya's eyes widened. Wait, that's dangerous. Don't go running off. Then she watched in horror as Fangyi plunged his hand directly into the molten flow. What are you doing? Are you insane? Someone grab him. But before anyone could move, the lava burst upward with a deafening roar. Boom. Just then, the system's voice rang out. Heavenly anomaly detected. Inner flame. Parsing in progress. Activating ultimate computational thread. New technique compiled. Crimson flame blade art. The system continued. Inner flame refers to extreme internal heat, explosive, volatile, and devastating in close combat. Crimson flame blade art must be used with a drawn weapon. Each slash ignites with roaring flame, the blade enveloped in fire. When battle intent surges, it can summon lightning-laced infernos, weaponized into pure destruction. Fangyi tightened his grip on his tang blade, a smirk forming. Perfect synergy. This skill matches my weapon exactly. System, consume script points and embed inner flame into the tang blade. Meanwhile, the others pointed toward him in awe. Look, he's okay. And his weapons absorbing lava energy. That must have been a breakthrough. The spiritual energy around here feels way calmer now. Great time for cultivation. The others nodded. Yeah, I can feel it too. Just a little focus, and I might enter the cultivation path. Same here. The energy's more stable and flowing easier than before. Zhang Xiaoya chuckled. Don't worry about a thing. I'm just here to gather data. You guys go ahead and cultivate. I'll keep watch. Moments later, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the cave entrance. Zhang Xiaoya's expression tightened. Others had arrived, uninvited. 3 men strode in. One of them, a red-haired brute with a massive sword on his back, sneered. Who let the trash in? This spot's ours now. Get lost or get buried. Her heart sank. All 3. Ghostsmith 1-star. We're outmatched. Even if we all fought together, we'd lose. Still, she stepped forward, voice steady. Sorry, but we found this spot first. My friend is already cultivating. If you're willing, you can join us. There's enough energy for everyone. The red-haired thug barked a laugh and snarled, Shut it, girly. You even stepped into the Ghostsmith realm yet? Scram, or get crushed. Zhang Xiaoya clenched her fists. In this chaotic new world, strength means everything. The weak get nothing. But the Xia Nation won't allow lawlessness forever. As a member of the association, I have to stand for something. Just then, footsteps echoed from deeper within the cave. Fangyi emerged, calm and composed. He stepped beside her, eyes locked on the red-haired man. Big muscles, small mind. All that bulk just to bully a girl. Without another word, he raised his tang blade and pointed it to the ground. In an instant, crimson energy surged around him. Fiery, intense, overwhelming. The red-haired man flinched, stepping back with a shout. Watch it. Fall back now. Meanwhile, the rest of the group, still meditating deeper in the cave, looked up in alarm. What's going on out there? Fangyi narrowed his eyes. This world fell into chaos because too many cultivators embrace survival of the fittest. Words won't stop them. Only power will. Without hesitation, he raised his tang blade and bellowed. his voice like a thunderclap. "Get out." The red-haired thug staggered back, panic flashing in his eyes. A second blast? What is this guy? A monster? Without waiting for another second, he turned and ran, dragging his two underlings with him. The others erupted in cheers. "Bro, that was insane. Dude, that slash, absolutely epic." Fong, he scratched his head modestly. "I just don't like bullies. Anyway, I think we've all gotten what we came for. Shall we head out?" Zhang Xiaoya quickly agreed. "Yes, the spiritual energy in this domain is depleted. We should move on." But deep down, as she watched his calm figure leading the way, her heart was still pounding. If he'd truly swung that blade, all that would have remained were scorched corpses. He's not just a strong cultivator. He's a prodigy with high-level attributes. I have to report this to the association immediately. Moments later, the Spirit Energy Association office picked up a call. "Xiaoya, are you sent another high-attribute pioneer just appeared?" The word "another" caught Zhang Xiaoya off guard. "Wait, another?" But the voice on the other end remained calm. "It's fine. I'll log it. If you get any updates, notify me immediately." The call ended with a soft click. Xiaoya turned to her mentor, her face lighting up. "Teacher, this might be our lucky day. 2 high-attribute pioneers back-to-back. 269. But the older woman just scoffed. "Lucky? You think we can handle those kinds of people?" High-attribute pioneers are bound to become key figures in the future. Powerful, influential, untouchable. Honestly, I'm starting to consider quitting. Scene shift. Fong Yi, walking along a street, suddenly sneezed. Someone talking trash about me? But around him, people were murmuring excitedly. "Whoa, check out that cosplay. Dude, that prop sword looks way too real. And his presence is insane." Suddenly, his phone buzzed. A trending post on the forum read, "Cultivation fiction turning real? Golden light over ancient cave, purple chi rising in the east, and someone swears they saw a dragon fly by. Anonymous source claims a man with a tang blade trained there and chased everyone off single-handedly." Fong Yi smirked at the screen. "Can't say I'm surprised. That inner flame burst hit 2,000 degrees Celsius. No way it wouldn't cause a spectacle. But whoever leaked the details, I doubt it was Old Li or Zhang Xiao. Those guys absorb tons of my yang energy. If I cycle the Vajra breathing technique again, yeah, time to hit the back mountain, somewhere quiet to train." Scene shift. 5 minutes later, in the forested hills behind Fong Yi's house. Su Qingying reached the summit, panting, finally done with that mess. But just as she caught her breath, a blinding golden light erupted in the distance. What an overwhelming aura. Someone's here, deep in the mountain. Her eyes widened as she spotted a colossal glowing axe forming midair. Wait a sec. Is someone breaking through to Axe Realm? Stage 3. This level of force. This isn't just a prodigy anymore. This is monstrous. No time to hesitate. I have to check it out. Could it really be him? If it is, I have to catch him this time. After successfully breaking through to Axe Realm Stage 3, Fong Yi didn't rest. That very night, he stepped into a high-risk thunder zone, aiming to seize a new power. Electric energy rained from the heavens, crackling violently, all converging onto his body. His movements were lightning fast, so fast that he seemed like a 1,000-armed deity, each motion leaving behind a flickering afterimage. As the last surge of energy entered his core, the golden battle axe above his head began to vibrate violently, emitting a deep, resonant hum. Meanwhile, Su Qingying arrived at a nearby peak and looked up at the sky, eyes wide. He's trying to wield the divine axe? He's controlling the lightning flow so precisely. Did this guy secretly cultivate for hundreds of years? She recalled her own failed attempt to reach Axe Realm Stage 3. Rejected by the divine axe's pressure, she had vomited blood and spent a week bedridden. That kind of pain she never wanted to remember. Yet this man, standing firm amidst divine thunder, was lifting the axe as if born to do so. Those currents, that mastery. This guy isn't just a prodigy anymore. He's something else. Something divine. Most pioneers rush their breakthroughs the moment they feel a hint of progress. But this man remained steady, composed like an old-world recluse, far beyond his years. Suddenly, Su Qingying noticed the divine axe shift its direction toward the east. Meanwhile, A cracking sound echoed from Feng Yi's body, as if his very bones were shedding their limits. The system chimed in / congratulations. Host has advanced to Axe Realm Stage 3. Moments later, Su Qingying arrived at the clearing. But to her disbelief, it was empty. Not a soul in sight. She stared at the vacant glade and sighed in despair. Missed him again? It's only been 30 seconds. He must have noticed I've been tracking him. At this rate, I'll never be able to recruit him. But then her expression shifted. Something fell off. Raising her voice, she called out, "Senior, I believe you're still nearby, aren't you?" Up in a tree, Feng narrowed his eyes. So it's really her. Been tailing me for days. With no reply, Su Qingying continued. I'm Su Qingying, squad leader of a pioneer unit under the National Aura Cultivation Association. I'm also a pioneer myself. On behalf of the association, I sincerely invite you to join us. We may not be fully public yet, but we are a legitimate organization. Official documentation, charter, the whole deal. After finishing her speech, Su Qingying nervously wondered, did I come off too strong? What if he thinks I'm harassing him? I need to be more careful with my wording and keep my tone gentle. 5 long minutes of silence passed before a calm voice finally broke it. Why? Flustered, Su Qingying stammered. Because her mind raced. What should I say? Someone like him won't fall for flattery. If I lie or sugarcoat it, he'll see right through me. Taking a deep breath, she spoke earnestly, because the Xian nation is trying to bring all pioneers together to build a structure, a system, and most importantly, a future. I understand it might feel like a restriction to someone as powerful as you, but we all have to face the unknown together. Unity gives us a fighting chance. Feng responded flatly. And what if I say no? I'm not ready to trust any organization just yet. Su Qingying froze, struggling to find a response. After a moment of hesitation, she reached into her jacket and pulled out a small item. My name is Su Qingying. Before all this, before the spiritual awakening, I was a national athlete. Maybe you've heard of me? Here's my ID. I hope this proves I'm sincere. Su Qingying's sudden move even left Feng Yi a little stunned. After a moment, he realized he did recognize her. Makes sense, he thought. People with better natural talent tend to awaken earlier. No wonder she was so fast on her feet. But in his past life, the Xian nation never managed to fully unite the pioneers. In the end, humanity was wiped out. Now that I've been given a second chance and a system, I do intend to get involved. Just not yet. The timing isn't right. With that in mind, he turned to Su Qingying and said, Yeah, I do remember you. I'll think about your offer. But for now, I need you to keep my whereabouts off the record. He made the request because from Su Qingying's attitude, it was clear, right now, the association wouldn't dare provoke a high-tier pioneer like him. That was something he could use to his advantage. Without hesitation, Su Qingying nodded. I can cooperate with that. But just so you know, your breakthrough didn't go unnoticed. The association has already picked up on the anomaly. I have to report it, but I can bend the truth a little. Half fact, half fiction. Deal. Before she could even finish her sentence and turn around, Feng Yi had already vanished, leaving her alone under the vast mountain sky. On her way back, Su Qingying sighed into her communicator. I didn't catch him again. He's clearly dodging me on purpose. I've been running around cleaning up the aftermath of some powerhouse's breakthrough. Ugh, my life is suffering. The voice on the other end tried to console her. All right, don't beat yourself up. Honestly, it might be a good thing you're still out in the field. Did you hear? Something strange has started happening again. Her footsteps halted as her expression turned grim. They're back? Those twisted, monstrous things. I could never forget them. Nightmarish figures resurfaced in her mind. Some cold and sinister, others mindlessly bloodthirsty. Ever since the awakening of spiritual energy, these beings had begun to mutate within polluted zones, some becoming terrifying beasts or aberrations that devoured humans, others disguising themselves as natural disasters, spreading chaos, carving out territory, and spawning new areas of corruption. Su Qingying knew all too well. If these creatures weren't stopped in time, they would unleash their catastrophic powers and steadily consume the human world. The scene shifted to a rain-drenched city at night. Sheets of rain battered the streets. On the news, the anchor reported, A red alert has been issued for thunderstorms and heavy rainfall. Citizens are advised to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary. Friendly reminder: the Yuhuang Peak Scenic Area is now closed due to the high risk of flooding. Please do not attempt to enter under any circumstances. Meanwhile, the internet was in an uproar. Netizens flooded the forums with comments like, "Haven't seen a storm this crazy in decades. Who the hell is transcending in the middle of the city?" At that very moment, Fang Yi was walking calmly through the downpour. He gazed into the distance, eyes fixed on the mountain shrouded in ominous storm clouds. What a rich concentration of lightning energy. Dominant, regal. Just the kind of power I need, he murmured. And the epicenter's right over there. With a swift leap, he vaulted over the wall. Instantly, his system chimed in. Warning, polluted domain detected. Mount Yuhuang. Mount Yuhuang stands 1,545 meters tall, spanning 25,000 hectares. It is one of the city's most prominent scenic areas. Current contamination level, unknown. But before the system could finish its report, a bolt of lightning suddenly crashed down toward Fang Yi. His eyes gleamed. There it is. Meanwhile, in a high-level city conference room, a government official watched the surging spirit energy graph on a large screen. The risk level at Mount Yuhuang is spiking uncontrollably. The peak must be sealed off immediately. We're designating it as a new polluted zone. He glanced around the room, then nodded toward the door. This incident is both urgent and unprecedented. I've already recalled Qingying from her previous mission. Qingying, bring us up to speed. Standing to speak, Su Qingying reported, the summit of Mount Yuhuang is currently inaccessible. The lightning-type spiritual energy is rising explosively. We've given the area an initial A-class contamination rating, but at this rate, it could reach S-class within the hour. We must activate emergency protocols immediately. Her expression grew heavier. According to all available records, no Pathfinder in our region has the ability to approach the zone. Not even myself. Even for a Tier 3 Ghost Axe Pathfinder, the simulated survival rate is 0. The man known as Hat Bro nodded decisively. Seal off Mount Yuhuang from the base. Post armed patrols 24 hours a day. No one goes up that mountain. The rest of the council echoed the order. Agreed. Cut off the danger at its source. Total lockdown. The spirit energy is still surging. Absolutely no entry allowed until it stabilizes. Recon comes later. Meanwhile, Fang Yi stood amid the roaring thunder, lightning raining down on him in relentless strikes. Gritting his teeth, he thought, "Thank the heavens I have the golden sun breathing technique." But that alone isn't enough. To harness the purest lightning energy, I need to reach the heart of the storm, Mount Yuhuang's peak. His gaze sharpened, thoughts turning grim. With spiritual revival, humanity didn't rise to dominance. Instead, we've begun to fall to the bottom of the food chain. Even rabbits and rats now pose a threat, and far worse creatures will follow. Beasts of horror, monsters beyond imagination. Even powerful cultivators might not survive their wrath. Fang Yi clenched his fists. I've already mastered the golden sun breathing technique and the crimson fire blade art, representing yang energy and inner flame. But that's still not enough. I burned through a ton of script points to embed both properties into my Tang blade. Yang energy boosts durability and defense, while crimson flame enhances destructive power. But if I rely too much on my weapon, I'll eventually be exposed. I need to strengthen myself, or I'll never have the edge against those cunning, brutal foes. He looked up at the storm-ridden summit. This lightning, it's the perfect catalyst to temper my body. In a world ruled by chaos, you either seize power from the storm, or die waiting for disaster to come. With that thought, his hand gripped the hilt. A heartbeat later, he slashed toward the lightning. Damn, the resistance is insane, he growled through gritted teeth. But retreat? Never. With a surge of will, he unleashed his full strength. The blade tore through the lightning with a thunderous crack, shattering the arc like brittle glass. Yet the backlash was brutal. Fang Yi spat out a mouthful of blood. This wasn't just lightning. It was divine retribution incarnate. It pressed down on him like judgment itself, furious that he dared trespass upon its sacred ground. It wanted him to kneel, but he asked himself, how do I make this power mine? Forcing himself calm, He recalled the system's earlier guidance. To master elemental energy, you must first make contact with its source. Suddenly, his eyes shot open. I've got it. With that, Fong Yi activated the Golden Sun breathing technique at full power. He realized he had to push his body to the limit, endure the agony, and reach the eye of the storm. Only by walking the edge of death could he be reborn stronger. Gazing toward the thundercloud's core, Fong Yi muttered, "Such overwhelming power. Even breathing is enough to make my muscles go numb. This storm wants me dead," but Fong Yi never backs down. A colossal lightning pillar suddenly shot skyward, tearing open the heavens like a blade of divine fury. Just then, the system chimed in, "Massive lightning attribute detected. Commencing skill compilation." Meanwhile, down in the city, people stared at their windows in disbelief. I've never seen lightning like this in my life. Is some higher being transcending into godhood? I swear I saw someone up there. Is that lightning going to hit our buildings? Moments later, countless bolts of lightning erupted from a golden energy sphere, streaking across the sky like divine judgment. System update. You have obtained / divine thunder tempering, called down heavenly lightning to forge your body, ascend through flesh to godhood. Plus 50 script points awarded. Feeling the surge of energy within his body, Fong Yi could hardly contain his excitement. The lightning element, an elite attribute focused entirely on offense. Unlike the sun element, lightning doesn't just burn, it tempers the body itself, forging strength through shock. It's ruthless, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. Ancient legends echoed in his mind. It said that cultivators of old drew thunder into their bodies through sacred oaths. With time, they became as unshakable as mountains, invincible and immortal. Clenching his fist, Fong Yi whispered, "Thunder is not just a weapon of destruction. It's a force of renewal. I can feel it refining my muscles, bones, and meridians, and there's no pain at all. It's like being reborn." Then, the system's prompt appeared. You have obtained pure judgment lightning, a divine energy that annihilates all evil. Grants plus 300% critical damage against corrupted entities. Use script points to implant this trait. Fong Yi hesitated. If I fuse it with the Tang Blade, the weapon's durability will improve, but it might dilute the sun attribute's purity. Besides, overloading the blade with too many attributes might destabilize it. A spark of inspiration flashed in his eyes. He pressed his right arm. Why not fuse it with myself instead? The system responded, confirm lightning attribute infusion. Target. Right arm? Upon confirmation, arcs of lightning surged into Fong Yi's arm, fusing seamlessly with his flesh and bone. The next morning atop Mount Yuhuang, Su Qingying stood at the summit, reporting, Major Han, the situation has taken an unexpected turn. Within just 3 hours, the spiritual density dropped from peak levels to mild contamination. However, traces of high-voltage static energy remain in the air. At that moment, Major Hanley knelt on one knee, pressing his hand against the damp soil. Someone's been here. A pathfinder. Su Qingying gasped, what? Another pathfinder? Then, is he still alive? She quickly mimicked the motion, palm to ground, trying to sense any residual aura. I can't detect his element or when he left. Maybe the rain last night washed everything away. But Hanley calmly responded with a precise judgment. He left around 8 p.m. last night, unharmed. Seeing Su Qingying's puzzled face, he elaborated. The anomaly began at 6 p.m. By 7, we had already sealed the mountain base. He must have climbed up before that, or we would have caught him. Besides, Han continued, our instruments predicted the pollution level would hit S-class before midnight, especially around 7 p.m. when the lightning peaked. But right after 8, the energy surge began to subside. Standing up, his gaze sharpened. I also sensed lingering, lightning elemental energy. That means this person not only withstood the storm, but likely used it to power through a breakthrough. For him, the chaos was a golden opportunity. Han's thoughts turned cold. But was it truly luck? Or did he purposefully tap into the celestial upheaval? He moved faster than we did. Turning to Su Qingying, his voice dropped into a grim tone. People like him are the most dangerous. We have no idea what side he's on. If he turns rogue, the damage could rival a natural disaster. We need to find him fast. Meanwhile, Back at home, Fong Yi randomly sneezed and rubbed his nose, oblivious to the storm he had stirred. Hanli had already turned to his men, issuing orders. No matter the cost, identify and locate this individual. Operation codename Tyrant. Hanli stated that he hoped the association could recruit the tyrant as soon as possible. On their side, they would seal off the news and start the investigation immediately. Hearing this, the association's representative quickly replied, "Of course. But we also have a high-level pioneer trying to make contact. Xiao Su, report to Major Han." The sudden request caught Su Qingying completely off guard. Forcing herself to stay calm, she said, "Yes, earlier, at the ill-level contamination zone, outside the north gate of Qingxing University. The one who purified the anomaly was that pioneer. Inside, she was panicking. Crap, don't let them see through me." After steadying her nerves, she continued, "I've been trying to get close to him, but his movements are extremely elusive. I once found the corpse of a mutant hare he killed. If I'm not mistaken, his attribute should be solar flame. I'll do my best to approach him and uncover how he purified the north gate of Qingxing University." Deep down, Su Qingying sighed, "Ancestor, I've really done my best. Mixing truth with lies is the only way to make them believe me. Say nothing at all, and I'll definitely crash and burn." Major Han thought for a moment before saying, "Solar flame? Huh? Understood. Xiao Su, well done. We need promising youngsters like you to rise and surpass the old guard." Relieved at having bluffed her way through, Su Qingying quickly saluted. "Major Han flatters me. This is my duty. I will continue to give it my all." Hanli then turned to the association members and added, "We'll also release a few natural disaster smoke screens. And another thing, I strongly disagree with posting information about spiritual energy online. Such news will only be exploited by those with ill intent." The scene shifted, and Fong Yi was already back home. He aimed the golden sun breathing technique at his jacket. In the next instant, the fabric dried completely. Slipping it on, Fong Yi thought to himself, after infusing it with lightning, the change is obvious. His right hand now felt like it had undergone a lightning-forged transformation, becoming the toughest part of his entire body. It seemed as though he was brushing against another breakthrough. What shocked him even more was that the once dominant lightning attribute, after merging with him, had turned obedient, like a tamed kitten, flowing smoothly under his control. He remembered the agony of unlocking the solar attribute the first time he used the golden sun breathing technique. Pain too unbearable to recall. Yet after absorption, that torment had truly lessened. Fong Yi recalled the system's prompt. This attribute dealt 300% critical damage against abominations and evil spirits. He was already eager to test it out. Just then, his phone on the table suddenly rang. Seeing this, Fong Yi's heart sank. What now? After the last incident, he had set all news and forum alerts as priority notifications. In these times of great upheaval, the Xia Nation would always issue danger alerts immediately, doing everything possible to protect ordinary citizens. Yet within those alerts lay hidden opportunities, an irresistible lure for pioneers like Fong Yi. Even if it meant the risk of perishing, he would still take the gamble. The moment he opened the message, Fong Yi's eyes sharpened. Chemical plant explosion. No casualties reported. The blast has caused urban contamination, and the cause is under investigation. The incident occurred during shift change, resulting in no injuries. Citizens are advised to remain calm and prioritize personal safety. Reading the words explosion and contamination, Fong Yi immediately thought an event of this scale couldn't be as simple as it seemed. The live chat was already flooded with comments. "My house is nearby." Not gonna lie, the feeling was really strange. I can't even describe it. Was it a cold, sinister aura? Replying to the post above, yes, exactly. Cold and sinister. That's the perfect way to put it. Seeing the phrase cold, sinister aura, Fong Yi frowned. It felt disturbingly familiar. Then it struck him. The same evil terror from his previous life. Back then, he had hidden in the corner, too terrified to even move. Could this explosion be connected to them? Those creatures that always emerged from the shadows and thrived in the darkness? These creatures might once have been ordinary plants or animals, but after mutation, they gained intelligence and frenzied strength. Their senses, hunting skills, and killing ability all became twisted and terrifying. This was 100 times more dangerous than the mutant hair before. Tonight, he had to move out and stop them from evolving further. It was the perfect chance to test his 300% critical strike in real combat. The scene shifted. The city was drenched in heavy rain. As the light turned green, several figures suddenly flashed across the street with a sharp whoosh. The squad leader's voice came through. Reporting to HQ, the Annihilator Squad is pursuing Archive Number 7 anomaly, Night Candle. We've temporarily lost visual on the target. Known abilities: merges with the night, conceals its form, produces faint sounds when approaching, and is man-eating. Requesting immediate archive updates. With this weather, it's bound to start feeding soon. We cannot allow that to happen. HQ quickly responded, acknowledged. Supplementary data on Archive Number 7, Night Candle, has been uploaded. Extermination operation approved at Priority B level. Resolution expected within 12 hours. Annihilator Squad continue pursuit, but above all, prioritize survival. Upon receiving the order, the Annihilator Squad immediately replied, no problem. They knew full well that 12 hours wasn't exactly fast, but it was already the maximum support HQ could provide. With Xia Nation's vast territory and outbreaks everywhere, the central command was stretched thin. Just then, HQ called back again. Wait. In the area you're approaching, we have operatives from the Spiritual Cultivation Association. Squad leader Su Qingying is currently on pioneer observation duty. We can send word for her to assist you temporarily. Hearing this, the squad leader quickly responded, understood. Much appreciated. Please have her come over as soon as possible. I've heard of her record. But the very next second, a voice suddenly rang out. Since when did I get so famous? Don't tell me this is just another overtime call. As Su Qingying appeared, the squad leader hastily explained, this mission isn't about overtime. Our target this time is Night Candle, a man-eating anomaly. Su Qingying, however, turned on her heel to leave. That's her attitude when asking for help? Seems the Annihilator Squad is so strong it doesn't need outside assistance. Linging Squad won't bother then. One of her subordinates teased, boss, that's ruthless. What if they really get eaten? Another snorted, then that's their problem. Like our missions aren't deadly enough. Seeing their sharp words and that she really meant to leave, the squad leader hurriedly called out, please wait. Sorry for my tone just now. Please help us search for its whereabouts. You know how dangerous Night Candle is. Without your tracking and locating abilities, if we get eaten, so be it, but the people in the city will all be doomed. Hearing this, Su Qingying turned back and said, all right, no more jokes. I never meant I wouldn't help you. This creature is cunning by nature, only active in the dark and hidden from sight. That's why it's so hard to catch. But once it devours a human, it becomes unstoppable, revolting beyond words. We'll do everything we can to help you capture Night Candle. Meanwhile, Fong Yi stood in the rain, inhaling the scent carried through the air. Gazing into the distance, he muttered, I smell it. The stench is unusually strong. Has this thing already grown that powerful? At that moment, Su Qingying's squad and the Annihilator Squad arrived at the scene. Su Qingying raised her palm, and a beam of blue light shot forward. She declared there, I've found it. HQ transmitted an update. Archive Number 7, Night Candle. Prefers dark, damp environments and preys on humans. The squad leader acknowledged, understood. Then he gave the order, Annihilator Squad, commence operation. At the same time, Night Candle had already sensed their presence. Seeing it turn to flee, the squad leader shouted, target has spotted us. Annihilator Squad, formation now. In the next instant, a figure blocked its path, calling out east positioned. Almost immediately, voices echoed one after another. North in position. West in position. South in position. The target was now fully surrounded, awaiting the squad leader's command. Then, from above, a silhouette came hurtling down toward Night Candle. In the blink of an eye, a brutal hand strike slashed across its waist. But the blow failed to deliver a fatal wound. With a single step back, two sharp spikes suddenly erupted from its body. Accompanied by a furious roar, a pair of black wings tore their way out of Night Candle's flesh. Seeing this, Su Qing shouted urgently, "Watch out for its sonic wave. Dodge now." No sooner had the words left her mouth than several squad members were blasted away. Even the Annihilator squad's captain was injured, forced to leap onto a rooftop to recover. Inwardly, he cursed, "Night Candle truly is powerful. If we hadn't pulled back in time, our bones would already be shattered." With this level of destructive power, combined with its terrifying dark attribute, letting it linger in the city would spell absolute disaster. But before he could think further, Night Candle's mouth suddenly swelled. The next second, it spewed a cloud of black smoke onto the ground. In the blink of an eye, the pavement corroded into a gaping hole. Su Qingyin cried out, "It's trying to burrow underground." She rushed forward to stop it, but was held back by a teammate. "Captain Su, that's dark attribute with corrosive properties. The instant it makes contact, it eats through any structure. Without a superior counter-attribute, we can't resist it head-on. Even if it corrodes the ground, it won't create an escape tunnel instantly. Don't disrupt the Annihilator Squad's formation. Our main role is gathering intel and adjusting strategy." The Annihilator Squad members, faced with such a venomous creature, couldn't help but feel a surge of fear. Just then, a pair of blood-red eyes suddenly gleamed in the dark. In the next instant, the monster charged straight forward, crashing through the spot where one of the squad members stood. "Don't let it escape." After it, the others shouted in alarm. Immediately, several members of the squad gave chase in the direction Night Candle had fled. From above, Su Qingyin suddenly called out, "Wait." The concentration of abnormal spirit energy just spiked. "You stay outside, I'll follow them in." Soon, they tracked it into an abandoned factory. Upon entering, Su Qingyin said, "Let me check the spirit energy levels first." When the squad leader saw the device in her hand, he was taken aback. "That's the new auxiliary equipment developed by the association, isn't it?" Su Qingyin nodded. "Correct. The watch shows that the maximum abnormal spirit concentration a squad can normally handle is 50. Just now, Night Candle measured at 48. But the very next second, she cried out, "Wait, it's spiking past 80 and still climbing. That means there's more than one anomaly here." Even as she spoke, a pair of scarlet eyes had already appeared behind them, staring unblinkingly at the group. Before they could even react, one of the squad members vanished into thin air. Su Qingyin cried out in alarm, "Not good. There really is another anomaly. Night Candle lured us in on purpose. Retreat. We can't stay here. Head for the main gate. If it tries to stop us, we'll force our way through. With all of us together, we can break it open." But in that instant, Su Qingyin suddenly froze in place, her body refusing to move. A moment later, she collapsed to the ground with a heavy thud. Her vision went completely dark. She couldn't see a thing. But soon she realized it wasn't just blindness. Her five senses and her body itself were being invaded by poison gas. Her heart tightened as she shouted, "Are you all okay?" But there was no reply. The silence was suffocating. It felt as though she was the only one left inside the abandoned factory. She knew her comrades were still nearby, yet she couldn't sense them, and they couldn't answer her. Racing through her thoughts, she recalled, Night Candle drew them in here, but this wasn't its lair. It was another anomaly's territory. She caught a faint trace of presence. This thing, it was likely a giant serpent. Unlike Night Candle's dark attribute, this black fog carried venom. From the very moment they stepped inside, they had already been poisoned. The toxins dulled their senses and rapidly drained their spirit energy. If they used spirit energy attacks, the depletion would only accelerate until nothing remained. Without spirit energy to protect her body, she would soon be nothing but a corpse. What kind of anomaly is this? Not only does it possess combat intelligence, but its ability is utterly overwhelming, playing us like prey in its own domain. Is my life really going to end here? But just as Su Qingyin sank into despair, the roof above them suddenly split open. In the next second, a figure shattered through the building and descended from the sky. By now, Su Qingyin's eyes slowly drifted shut, powerless to resist. The figure who descended from the sky was none other than Fong Yi. Landing firmly, he glanced around and said coolly, "So, it's a dark attribute anomaly?" The next instant, the massive serpent lunged at him with its gaping jaws. Fong Yi leapt aside, only for Night Candle to immediately pounce at him. Seeing this, Fong Yi sneered. I see now, two anomalies. One lures, the other harvests. Clever enough. No wonder the spirit energy here is so abnormally dense. As Night Candle sank its fangs into his arm, Fong Yi chuckled. So you like biting that much? Then savor the taste of lightning. With that, a violent surge of electricity erupted, obliterating Night Candle in an instant. Without pause, he swung his blade, unleashing a slash of golden flame that roared toward the serpent. Wielding the blazing warblade, Fong Yi stood like a war god, his voice cold. Your turn. Are you afraid of fire? The dark serpent roared and lunged at Fong Yi once again. In that moment, Fong Yi leapt high, narrowly dodging the serpent's strike. Gripping his blade tight, he roared, Beast, take this! In the next instant, a blazing sword strike infused with lightning came crashing down. With a single slash, the dark serpent was cleaved in two. Yet as Fong Yi landed, he suddenly froze. To his shock, the serpent's bisected body began to regenerate. Fong Yi narrowed his eyes, thinking, so it still has a trump card. Just then, sparks of electricity crackled violently from its wounds. The next moment, arcs of lightning surged through its entire body, wrenching agonized roars from the beast. Witnessing this, Fong Yi allowed himself a faint smile. Good thing I sensed it early. The serpent's dark aura was even heavier than Night Candle's. Earlier, when Fong Yi swung his tang blade infused with solar flame, he instantly pulled the power back under control, letting the blade itself act as the vessel. There, he condensed the lightning in his hand and forced it straight into the serpent's body. He thought to himself, Night Candle may be sinister and sly, but its strength is limited. At most, it threatens a handful of humans, one or two victims at most, never fully evolved. But this serpent, it's something else entirely. Just then, a sharp pain shot through Fong Yi's shoulder. Looking down, he found a serpent scale embedded in his flesh. Fong Yi immediately burned it away with solar flame, sneering. As expected of such a cunning mutant, its intelligence is growing too. Its venom carries a built-in paralysis effect, killing silently without warning. He muttered with relief. Luckily, I can still feel the sting. That's thanks to the golden sun breathing, circulating non-stop inside me. The solar flame dissolves toxins, the golden sun breathing heals and shields my body, and lightning purifies what remains. Together, they trigger a sharp pain whenever poison invades, acting as a warning, alerting me to enemy strikes. But anyone else, even with some defensive ability, would be doomed. With no antidote, they'd have no chance. His gaze hardened. No wonder this serpent grew so massive in silence. At the very least, its ghost forged rank 3, and its ambush predator style explains the rest. Paired with Night Candle, they make the perfect trap for elite pioneers. The number of people it has devoured must already be terrifying. Many pioneers who never regrouped with the authorities were likely killed by it. Fong Yi exhaled slowly, eyes sharp as blades. But no matter how vicious, no matter how cunning, it will still be reduced to ashes. The solar flame was pure and refined, but it was still the triple critical lightning that shone brightest. Fong Yi thought to himself that his combat level now placed him solidly among the better pioneers. Just then, his expression sharpened as he gazed thoughtfully ahead. Slowly, he stepped forward into the flames. As his hand reached out to touch the fire, he suddenly discovered there was someone inside. Slumped weakly against the wall was Su Qingying. Approaching closer, Fong Yi recognized her instantly. Well, isn't this the association's Su Qingying? He smirked and said aloud, Hey, drop the act. Your playing dead skills aren't exactly convincing. Flustered, Su Qingying covered her flushed face and blurted, I wasn't faking. The stench woke me up. Yet inside, her heart screamed, Oh no, it really is him. Of all people to run into here. Fong Yi looked at Su Qingying and said calmly, You're strong. Your teammates have all drained their spirit energy and lost consciousness. Yet you still managed to keep a trace of protection. Without a firm will, you wouldn't even be able to smell the blood and the burning. Hearing this, Su Qingying thought to herself, It's true, I did keep a sliver of spirit energy to shield myself. and he noticed. But I have no idea how he managed to defeat Night Candle, or that serpent. Seeing her remain silent, Fong, he continued, "You don't need to keep covering your eyes. As long as you keep your word and don't reveal my identity, that's enough. It's late. Since neither you nor your comrades are in mortal danger, I'll be leaving." Su Qingying opened her mouth, wanting to say thank you. But Fong Yu was already walking away, leaving only, "No need. Too many mouths here. It's better you handle things." As he departed, Fong Yu felt a surge of relief. Good thing she didn't see. When I tried touching and absorbing the dark attribute, just now, the chill and discomfort were nauseating. Maybe it was because I had already dispelled the dark energy and my body instinctively rejected it, that it failed. The system didn't respond either. Forget it. I'll review everything once I'm home. Meanwhile, Su Qingying gazed at the direction Fong Yi had left, sighing inwardly. What a shame. I didn't even see his face. Looks like he still hasn't lowered his guard against the association. She then walked over to the Annihilator Squad's captain, gave him a light pat, and said softly, "Wake up. It's over." The man slowly opened his eyes. Su Qingying told him, "We were ambushed." But when he looked up and saw the monster's corpse, everyone froze in shock. What is this? Where did such pure solar attribute come from? With a complicated expression, Su Qingying explained, "As you can see, a pioneer stepped in to save us. He should be the target of my mission. My assignment was to track and identify a pioneer with an extreme high-level attribute, the solar attribute. But I've never been able to confirm it. His identity is still a mystery. In truth, he even counter-detected me. He knew exactly what I was doing. And yet, this time, he protected me." Her words left the squad utterly stunned. He took down both Night Candle and that serpent alone? There's someone that powerful. The captain steadied himself and said, "Enough. Let's process the scene first and submit the remaining materials to the association." But as he stepped on a chunk of flesh, a sudden crackle of electricity hissed to life. His eyes widened in alarm. Such violent energy. "Captain Su, you said he was solar attribute? But this residual electrical charge, it's way too strong." Walking closer, Su Qingying recognized the remains of Night Candle. The lightning attribute lingering on, it was frighteningly pure, undeniably high level. Staring at the crackling currents on the ground, the Annihilator Squad captain muttered in confusion, "Could it be two high-tier pioneers appeared here? One killed the serpent, the other slew Night Candle, and then they left together?" But Su Qingying knew with absolute certainty that wasn't the case. How could I explain this? Only he was here, but no one would believe it. One person carrying two extreme high-level attributes at the same time, just having one would already make someone a peerless genius. But a dual high-attribute pioneer, that's unheard of. Solar Flame Wielder and Thunder Tyrant. What kind of monster is he, really? She sighed inwardly. Good thing I stationed members outside the factory. If I stayed inside too long, they'd immediately report back to the association. As expected, the association dispatched interrogation staff to the scene, originally intending to collect their corpses. Right then, two squad members rushed over, clinging to their captain's leg and bawling, "Boss, you're alive. We thought we'd lost you for good." But Su Qingying knew their real priority now, scanning for residual energy, analyzing the traces, and reconstructing the battle. And finally, reporting the outcome of the incident back to the association. Moments later, an association investigator spoke up. "Captains, based on the analysis of residual traces here, both the attack patterns and the kill methods, there's a 99% probability that the same individual slew both anomalies." Hearing this, the Annihilator Squad's captain was stunned to his core. So it really was a dual high-tribute pioneer? I thought we might have been mistaken, but thinking about it, either one of those anomalies alone could have buried us here. Another squad member, equally shocked, muttered, "Exactly. That powerhouse wiped them out in a single move. We're all at the Ghost Forge stage, but the gap is insane." At this point, Su Qingying stepped forward. "The data on my monitored subject has updated. I need to report this to higher-ups." Moments later, she relayed the situation. "According to my monitoring, both the Tyrant and the Qingshan University Northgate incident point to the same person, my assigned subject." HQ replied, "Understood. Xiao Su, your mission is suspended for now. This individual saved you, eliminated the anomalies, and secured the area. That proves he doesn't resent the association and isn't our enemy. My view differs from old Han's. For your safety, and to ensure the association leave a good impression on the tyrant, you are not to approach him for the time being. Su Qingying acknowledged, received, but then added, I do have another suspicion about the time in the back mountain, right before the tyrant's ascension. In the area he operated, I sensed an extraordinarily powerful aura. Back then, I suspected he might have a spirit weapon, but dismissed it as unlikely. Now that it's confirmed he's a dual high-attribute pioneer, the probability is much higher. At the mention of him possibly wielding a spirit armament, the leader at HQ narrowed his eyes sharply. He then said, that's unlikely. No matter how gifted he is, it's impossible to possess a spirit armament without outside support or resources. Besides, our investigators found no traces of a third spirit armament attribute at the scene. But Su Qingying countered, that's not right. When I came into contact with him, I clearly sensed the energy of spirit armament, and it was solar attribute. Hearing this, the HQ leader muttered, so that's it. He went on, if the armament's attribute comes from his own solar attribute, then if he has already reached the creation realm sovereign level, it's theoretically possible to forge one using only his own power. At the words creation realm, Su Qingying froze. After all, across the entire world, sovereigns of that level could be counted on less than 2 fingers. The voice on the other end continued. If this individual truly possesses a third attribute of spirit energy, it would rewrite the current balance of power and shake the entire pioneer community. Research has shown that different attributes of spirit energy are mutually repulsive, almost impossible to coexist in one body. To date, no pioneer has ever wielded 3 attributes at once. If he truly has a spirit armament, then the fact we haven't detected a third attribute might not be a bad thing. Let's just hope that someone with such overwhelming power never becomes humanity's enemy. Meanwhile, Fong Yi stepped out of the shower, water still dripping from his hair. Inwardly, he calculated. Less than a year remained before the full revival of spiritual energy. Yet already, heaven and earth had begun to twist. Anomalies stirring violently and strange phenomena erupting everywhere. Many pioneers, like himself, had taken to cultivation on their own. By opening the body's interface with the spiritual world, they could sense the world's shifts far more keenly than ordinary people. Just like those people he had encountered in the underground river. Not officially recognized by Xia Nation, yet through self-cultivation, most had already reached Ghost Mansion realm, 1 star. Now, Xia Nation extending goodwill to wild pioneers like him meant both the authorities and the independents were in a relatively stable stage of exploration. The anomalies remained within the state's control for the moment, and pioneers were not yet in serious conflict with one another. And yet, although the government had already established a spiritual cultivation association, it remained hidden from the public eye. Everywhere, people openly discussed their sense of danger and uncertainty. From this, it was clear the authorities were trying to both protect humanity and discreetly warn of the looming crisis. But herein lay the problem. Fong Yi could feel it. The authorities had no confidence in launching a fully open cultivation era. With such a vast population, making it public would first collapse order. Internal unrest would spark mass chaos and death. At present, even the recognized pioneers lacked the strength to stabilize the turmoil. Caught between internal and external threats, society would crumble even faster. Thus, the government had chosen this gradual, cautious approach, and it wasn't wrong. After all, human hearts could be more terrifying than ghosts or gods. But what worried Fong Yi was that anomalies were developing faster than he had anticipated. What he had faced today was a textbook case of a mutated field corrupted by dark attribute. From the moment he touched the black mist, he realized it belonged to a sub-branch, shadow attribute, the natural nemesis of pioneers. Worse still, these anomalies were far more intelligent than ordinary beasts. Not only did they crave human flesh, but pioneers' bodies were treated as supreme nourishment. Sometimes, they even allied with each other, setting traps specifically to hunt pioneers. These anomalies weren't as terrifying as the dark attribute beings he had once witnessed. Creatures capable of wiping out an entire nation, even a continent, with just one force. But without his pursuit today, that squad, and the people who wanted to recruit him, would have been finished. For a mere sub-attribute to be this vile and chilling only proved how great a threat the dark attribute truly was. Still, since he couldn't absorb it for now, did that mean once the system's conditions were met, he would be able to? If the dark attribute, humanity's natural nemesis, could be turned into his strength, it would be invaluable, perhaps even the key to reversing the entire situation. As of now, he commanded the golden sun breathing of the solar attribute, the hundredfold divine thunder of the lightning attribute, and the crimson flame blade technique, a sub-attribute of solar flame. It wasn't just that he wielded high-tier attributes. The most important part was that he had cultivation methods perfectly tailored to him, coupled with his ghost-forged 3-star strength. There were few pioneers who could stand against him. Yet Fong Yi knew well, this still wasn't enough. Just then, the phone on his desk suddenly rang. Seeing his aunt's name on the screen, Fong Yi frowned. Why so sudden? Answering the call, he heard her voice. Xiaoi, how have you been lately? Your cousin is about to study in your city. I don't feel safe letting her stay in a hotel alone. Could she stay with you for a few days? The mention of his cousin stirred vague memories in Fong Yi's mind. He only remembered one thing clearly. She was a straight-A bookworm. As for her appearance, he could hardly recall it all. With that thought, Fong Yi said, Auntie, just let her come over then. I've got a spare room at home. When will she arrive? Hearing this, his aunt quickly waved him off. No need. No need. I'll give her your address. She can head there herself, and she'll bring some local specialties for you too. Meanwhile, Fong Yi's cousin was at her computer, typing a reply. On her screen was a group chat titled, Spiritual Revival Martial Pioneer, Squad 7. She clicked it open, messages instantly filling the screen. That internet-famous town got renamed the Town of Death, 3 down already. Any pigs for the slaughter want to try? Staring at it, she muttered softly, Manhwa Town. Just then, her aunt suddenly pushed open the door. Have you finished packing? The cousin frowned. I really don't want to trouble my cousin. A hotel's fine. But her aunt insisted. No way. It's safer at your cousin's place. And listen, don't cause him trouble. Help out where you can, understand? Unable to win the argument, the cousin pushed her gently. All right, I got it. After closing the door, she sighed inwardly. One step at a time, I guess. No matter what, dealing with my cousin can't possibly be harder than facing anomalies. Before long, Lin Yi arrived at Fong Yi's residence, guided by the navigation. Looking up at the building, she thought this should be the place. When Fong Yi stepped outside, the girl called out tentatively, Cousin. Fong Yi blinked in confusion. You're Lin Yi, but staring at her now, he realized he couldn't recognize his cousin at all. After a brief exchange, Fong Yi said, So you're here for the summer program? If you need anything, just let me know. Here's a spare key. Your room is right across from mine. I'll head back to my room first. With that, he handed her the key. Lin Yi accepted it and replied softly, Okay, sorry to trouble you these next few days. Watching him leave, she thought with relief, Looks like my cousin's easygoing. He won't pry into my business. But at that same moment, Fong Yi was secretly unsettled. Was my perception mistaken, or is she deliberately concealing it? When she sat on the sofa just now, I clearly sensed a faint, unfamiliar spiritual aura. Could it be she's already a pioneer too? If so, this whole summer program excuse, does she actually have another reason for being here? Soon after, Lin Yi sent a message in the group. My cousin's fine. Seems like he won't interfere with what I'm doing. When do we act? Someone replied, No rush. Keep it low-key. Things are chaotic here. Lots of polluted zones, but pioneers are quick to stake their claims. Reading the chat, Lin Yi thought, forget it. I just got here. Better not start cultivating yet. If my cousin notices, I'll have no way to explain. 3 days passed in a flash. To Fong Yi's surprise, living with his cousin had made his cultivation much more troublesome. His meditation could be interrupted at any moment, and practicing the golden sun breathing risked being seen. The glow won't be that obvious, right? Why didn't I realize how flashy this technique was before? But the most troublesome part wasn't that. Just then, Lin Yi carried in dinner, calling out, Cousin, the food's ready. Tonight we got tomato milk, cucumber salad, and corn rib soup. This cousin of his was overly courteous, flawless in manners, and handled chores with the precision of someone with near-obsessive cleanliness. Fong, he didn't stop her. In fact, letting her act this way helped lower her guard. Only then could he gradually probe her true nature. But at that moment, Lin Yi's phone suddenly rang. Fang Yi glanced over and said casually, "What is it? A friend calling? Go ahead and talk. I'll head back to my room." Once Fang Yi had really left, Lin Yi finally dared to answer the call. "What? The heavenly change is happening again tomorrow? You're sure? Afternoon? 3 o'clock? All right, I'll be there. At the entrance of Yanghua Town. Don't be late." At that moment, Fang Yi had already overheard Lin Yi's words from outside the window. "Yanghua Town? Isn't that just some influencer hotspot on the outskirts? By car, it's only an hour away. So, my cousin really is a pioneer of the spiritual revival. Fortunately, with her current strength, she shouldn't be able to detect me. Still, she was only a high schooler, yet already a ghost-forged, 2-star, and even showing signs of advancing further. Such talent likely explained her peculiar personality, which meant this whole summer program was just a cover. Her real purpose here was the heavenly change. She must have caught wind of it beforehand and used the camp as an excuse. Every heavenly change was both peril and opportunity. For Fang Yi, it always meant gaining new techniques to boost his power. I wonder what attribute will emerge in Yanghua Town this time. Doesn't matter, whatever it is, it's mine. Meanwhile, as Lin Yi cultivated in her room, she suddenly felt uneasy. Glancing toward the window, she muttered, "Was that my imagination? Just now, it felt like someone was watching me." The scene shifted inside Yanghua Town. In the group chat, the user nicknamed Online Romance Girl teased Lin Yi. "Hey, aren't you staying at your cousin's place these days? So, tell us, is he handsome or not?" Lin Yi thought for a moment before replying. "He's a good person. As for looks, just plain and ordinary. Definitely not the internet celebrity type you like." Hearing that, Online Romance Girl looked a little disappointed. Then the married woman chuckled and said, "Don't forget, E always described herself as just another face in the crowd too." Moments later, the squad captain raised his voice. "All right, now that everyone's here, let's get down to business." Lin Yi quickly asked, "So, that one, she still isn't coming?" But the captain shook his head. "Correct. It's just a 6 again. She won't be joining." The married woman leaned closer to Lin Yi and added softly, "She's always been this mysterious. We're used to it. Let's move." Meanwhile, Fang Yi was watching the group from the second floor. He mused, "So my cousin's squad keeps a low profile, but even the weakest of them are stable at Ghost Forge 2-star. That man who spoke earlier is already Ghost Forged 3-star. And judging from their words, there's still another powerhouse in the team who rarely shows up." Just then, atop the hills of the influencer town, a massive vine suddenly descended from the sky, like the beanstalk from the tail Jack and the Beanstalk. The vine appeared randomly in the areas around Yanghua Town, its timing unpredictable. This ran completely counter to the intel pioneers had gathered before, defying all understanding. It was clearly part of the heavenly change, yet unrelated to weather or tectonic upheaval. Instead, it was an anomaly conjured from nothing, causing no destruction, no thunderous roar, no blazing spectacle. It simply drifted quietly, flickering in and out of sight. After walking for a while, Lin Yi and her group finally arrived near the vine. Staring at the towering structure, the married woman gasped, "My God, is this really it? If I wasn't seeing it with my own eyes, I'd never believe it." But just then, Online Romance Girl suddenly spoke up. "Wait, maybe we shouldn't go any closer." She lifted her gaze toward the vine, trembling. Only after seeing it up close did I realize something's wrong. My whole body feels frozen. She went on, "You've all seen the rumors on the internal forums, right? I have a friend who was in the squad that encountered it last time. They tried to make contact with the vine. They were far stronger pioneers than me. Their realm's not low at all. But after coming here, they all vanished. I can feel it, one up the same way. Nothing left of us but unmarked graves." Her voice shook harder. "I once thought I could face the gambler's path of a pioneer. Either return with riches or die without a trace. But seeing this thing, I feel nothing but instinctive terror. My gut tells me, this time we're facing a higher tier heavenly change, something unknown, something overwhelmingly powerful. I don't want to bury everything here. I want out." Hearing her words, Lin Yi also nodded. "You're right. We all feel it. This wooded tribute, vine, carries an aura of desolation. I can't describe it fully. It feels like something drowned in the river of time, where all things have perished and life itself has faded away. That's why it fills us with such unease, as if it's trying to swallow our very life force. But the next second, she suddenly gripped online romance girl's hand and declared, "Still, this is the path of martial pioneers." Meanwhile, up on the hillside, Fong Yi sensed the suffocating dead aura. Of all the heavenly changes he had witnessed, aside from dark attribute anomalies, this vine gave him the most unsettling feeling. The fact that they had chosen to cultivate here truly took courage. A plant should symbolize vitality, yet this one radiated death. It didn't feel alive at all, more like a corpse disguised as life, utterly devoid of spirit energy. At that moment, Linny raised her voice. "Everyone, we don't have time to hesitate. Since it's dangerous, let's attune ourselves here. Stay within sight of each other. Don't wander too far. That way we'll at least have some measure of safety." With that, she leapt onto a sturdy branch, crossed her legs, and began her cultivation. Watching this, Fong couldn't help but admire her. Not bad. She's cautious, choosing just the right distance to attune herself. Truly a top student, calculating the position for maximum benefit, neither reckless nor timid. When he saw Lin Yi's energy surge skyward, he realized instantly she was about to advance. Already reaching the threshold of 3-star so soon, my cousin really is a prodigy. At that moment, her teammates also noticed the ghostly axe sigil above her head and cried out, "Ghost Forged 3-star. Amazing, ease breaking through." But just then, the vine's branches began creeping slowly in their direction. Their captain immediately sensed something was wrong. He shouted at once, "Not good. The vine's moving toward us." The married woman's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? From this distance, it can sense us? How is that possible?" Yet before they could react, several teammates were already ensnared, dragged away by the vine's tendrils. Online romance girl screamed in terror, "Run! Run now! If we don't, we'll die here. It's E's breakthrough. It's drawn the vine. We can't get caught. Once it coils around us, the aura of desolation will instantly cling to our bodies and melt us alive." Meanwhile, Linny was already ensnared by the vine, her protective shield cracking in several places. Seeing some of the squad ready to abandon her, the married woman grabbed online romance girl's hand and cried out, "No, we can't leave yet. E will be in danger." But online romance girl screamed back, "And what do you expect me to do? Burn my spirit energy to guard her? She chose to break through here. It was her decision. Now she's putting my life on the line just so she can get stronger." Even the captain tried to dissuade her. Life and death are fate. Wealth is decreed by heaven. If we don't run now, we'll all die here. Don't be reckless. You're too young to throw your life away. After all, we're nothing more than chance companions. Before he could finish, the married woman slapped him hard across the face. She snapped, "Then go, all of you. I will never abandon a comrade." Fong Yi witnessed all of this from above. He thought grimly, "My cousin still has no idea how dire her situation is. She's just a student. Against this terrifying vine, I can't be sure my strength will be enough to save her, but time is running out. Still, I gave my aunt my word. A promise is a promise, and I won't break it." At the same time, the married woman had already rushed into the vines, desperate to save her teammates. But the vine gave her no chance. In the blink of an eye, it ensnared her tightly as well. Lin Yi's protective shield, battered by the relentless assault, was on the verge of shattering. In that critical moment, Fong Yi gripped his long blade and soared into the air, as the married woman cried out Yi's name in despair. A golden slash of sword light crashed down from the heavens, cleaving into the vine. A lone figure stood upon that radiant blade, like a war god descending from the sky. The sight left everyone gasping. The vines recoiled, halting their attack altogether. Wherever the golden sword light spread, countless tendrils snapped apart with sharp cracks. Watching Fong Yi shatter the vines with sheer aura alone, the others were stunned into silence. They could only marvel. Is he also a pioneer? That blinding radiance forced their eyes shut. This must be the pinnacle of solar attribute power. Only such a high-tier force could dare drive back the withering vines head-on. At that moment, The squad leader stared at Fong Yi, his face twisted with unwillingness. Why? I've always considered myself a genius, reaching Ghost-Forged 3-star in such a short time. Across the nation, only a handful could match that pace. Even that mysterious prodigy aside, even Lin Yi's talent is only on par with mine. But if someone like this exists among the pioneers, then what are we? Just faint stars meant to highlight the brilliance of the moon? He didn't just crush me. No, he crushed every pioneer among us. What kind of existence is this man? Just then, the system chimed. Extreme wood attribute detected. Compiling technique. Compilation complete. Endless vitality. Instantly draws upon all surrounding life force to rapidly heal one's injuries. Hearing this, Fong Yi marveled. Such a powerful wood technique. As long as there's life around me, I can absorb it endlessly. An infinite battery. A true perpetual engine. The system's voice echoed again, extracting attribute. Attribute extracted. Desolation. Desolation unleashes a wave of withering aura, eroding and corrupting all life around it. Fong Yi's eyes shimmered, now glimmering with a crystalline green light. He thought to himself, no wonder this vine could only grow in such a treacherous place. If it grew anywhere else, it would drain every ounce of life within dozens of miles, leaving nothing but death. Worse still, it can forcibly strip the life force from others. This desolation attribute is simply too tyrannical. Just as Fong Yi was lost in thought, the married woman behind him suddenly called out, "Thank you, young man. You saved our lives. Without you, we'd all be dead. How can we ever repay you?" Fong Yi only waved his hand dismissively. No need. Till we meet again. In his heart, he knew he had simply taken advantage of their intel, which allowed him to seize both endless vitality and the desolation attribute. Truthfully, he was the one who profited. As for the quarrels within their group, he had no intention of interfering. What mattered now was keeping an eye on his cousin. In times of crisis, people reveal their true natures, and a fractured team like this would never last in the face of a heavenly change. Watching Fong Yi leave, online romance girl muttered helplessly. He left so quickly. What do we do now? The man sneered. What? Regretting not helping back there. Now that the threat was gone and Lin Yi had advanced to 3-star, the smartest move was clear. Stay in this squad, no matter what. Moments later, Lin Yi slowly opened her eyes. The married woman rushed forward. "Yi, you're awake?" But the man knew better. Now it all depended on whether she had the sense to hold her tongue. If she spoke out about what just happened, it would only tear the group apart. Better to focus on the real question. Who was that mysterious stranger? At that moment, Lin Yi looked at the others in shock, demanding, "What happened? And why are they like this?" Then her eyes fell on the lingering flames scorched into the nearby branches. She gasped, "Such overwhelming solar attribute residue. Even from this distance, I can feel its searing heat pressing down on me." The man stepped forward and said, "Let me explain what happened." He then recounted the events to Lin Yi, though not without holding back certain details. Before long, the group was on their way back home. Lin Yi was still shaken. Could someone that powerful truly exist? Just moments ago, Chang Mao had told her, that man was a monster. We couldn't even scratch the vine no matter how hard we tried. Yet he forced it back with a single strike. Look at it now. The vine has retreated high into the sky, not daring to come near. That's his deterrence. Even after he left, the vine cowers like a tamed chicken, nothing like the raging terror from before. With that thought, Lin Yi pushed open the door and stepped inside. No sooner had she entered than Fong Yi asked, "You're back? You don't look so good. Your face is pale." Lin Yi forced an awkward smile. "Just studying, it's exhausting." Fong Yi didn't press further. He only remarked, "Pretty diligent, huh?" and told her to get some rest. Once inside her room, Lin Yi nearly collapsed. Breaking through takes such a toll. Every time I channel spirit energy into the ghost axe, I have to focus completely. It's more draining than pulling all-nighters for a month straight. Good thing I'm no longer ordinary. A few sleepless nights won't kill me. Still, this is the fate of a pioneer. The world is already changing. A peaceful life like my cousin's. It's no longer possible for me. Just then, Lin Yi's eyes widened at the sight of her phone. In the group chat, the legendary mysterious powerhouse Chilon had spoken. If there are any traces of that strong one again, notify me. Lin Yi was stunned. This was the first time Qilan had ever spoken in the group. She quickly replied in the group chat, "Understood, Qilan. But I have a question. Do you think the one who saved us could be the same figure who became famous during the Anna Dragon submergence incident? If it really was that powerhouse, why would he save us?" Meanwhile, the entire internet exploded. Breaking news. A supreme solar attribute expert has appeared. That strike was like a rainbow piercing the sun. Daylight itself was swallowed by his blinding radiance. I swear, within Xia Kingdom, no pioneer of the same rank can rival him. Time slipped into night. Fang Yi rode his bicycle, musing to himself. Good. Now, Yi will surely lower her guard around me. When I head out, she won't suspect that I've been keeping an eye on her. This is the perfect time to figure out how to host the desolation attribute. After a day of reflection, Fang Yi concluded, the desolation attribute aligns more closely with plant-based forms. But at its core, it's a corruptive, sinister force. If I graft it into myself directly, it may cause severe backlash, and could even conflict with my lightning attribute. The best solution would be to find a vessel, something like that strange ghost vine. The reason that vine descended from the heavens was because it sensed the dense aura of revival. It chose to evolve on its own, which ultimately birthed the desolation attribute. After a moment of thought, Fang Yi's eyes lit up. I know where to go. He headed straight toward the entrance of the city's forest park. Soon, he was walking beneath the canopy of the urban woods. I need to choose a plant that resonates most strongly with my spirit energy, something that can respond with intimacy. That will be the lucky one. Closing his eyes, Fang Yi released his spirit energy, letting it flow outward to blanket everything around him. He felt the shimmer of golden motes and the rustling of leaves, clear signs of the plants responding to his aura. Lively, yes, but still not strong enough. I need something that reacts even more intensely. Just then, a particular plant in the distance caught his attention. It was a small flower, swaying gently as if waving at him. As Fang Yi extended a finger toward it, the little flower suddenly latched on, biting his fingertip and drinking eagerly. A moment later, it swayed joyfully, as if satisfied after a full meal. Seeing this, Fang Yi couldn't help but sigh. Truly spiritual. This wildflower was just a plant, yet the moment it touched his aura, it behaved like a greedy little pup, drinking its fill before nuzzling against his finger. Among the entire forest, only this one responded so strongly to his energy. Perfect for hosting the desolation attribute. Then it's decided, it'll be you. Ready. The system's prompt rang out. Confirm, implant desolation attribute into this plant. Fang Yi lifted the small flower gently in his hand and answered without hesitation, yes. A surge of desolation aura burst violently from Fang Yi's body. Moments later, he stared at the small flower in shock. Its petals and leaves had grown significantly larger. Dark, ominous patterns of desolation spread across its petals. At the same time, its roots were greedily draining the life force of everything around it. Fang Yi sucked in a breath. Such power. This desolation is like the hand of a demon. In just 3 seconds, it nearly drained an entire section of the city forest. Too domineering, and it was still spreading madly. Seeing this, Fang Yi hurriedly ordered the flower to stop. No, enough. Any further, and I'll draw the Spirit Energy Association straight here. After all, this was the city center. The association would be watching closely. With spiritual revival underway, plants were dangerous enough. He had already noticed the extra surveillance cameras when he entered, and the park itself was eerily deserted. Even after he plucked the flower from the ground, it continued to absorb. No roots, and it still lives? Incredible. But compared to the rampant devouring earlier, this absorption is gentler. Its spirit remains undiminished, even outside the soil. Before his choice, it had only been an ordinary wildflower. Did receiving an attribute unlock its evolution? Like breaking through shackles. Suddenly, the cameras behind him lit red, alarms blaring. Warning, abnormal levels detected, exceeding safe threshold. Damn, the surveillance caught me. Fang Yi gritted his teeth, clutching the flower as he prepared to flee. Meanwhile, in the Spirit Revival Plant Research Division, the alarms echoed non-stop. Warning, Abnormal levels detected. Abnormal levels rising. The commander barked. Everyone, wear your wristbands and move in. Isolate the park. No outsiders allowed. Their monitors flashed with a terrifying number, 30. To compare, the anomaly at Chingcheng University's North Gate fluctuated only between 8 and 10. Even the Dark River Dragon submergence had peaked at 25. Anything above 10 was under military control, and this park had never broken 10 until now. Strange. Humidity, temperature, ground levels, everything's normal. Sunlight's fine too, yet the plants look like they were drained of life in seconds. What kind of a tribute could cause this? The center must be further in. Just then, someone shouted, "Stop! Don't get closer. This is the desolation attribute." The others froze, confused. The man explained quickly. "You've heard of the vines that descended from the sky, right? That monstrous vine has already been classified as an A-rank mutation. The reason it's so lethal, the reason so many pioneers left no bones behind, is the desolation attribute. It strips all surrounding life and claims everything for itself." At his words, fear gripped them all. Someone stammered, "Teacher, if you hadn't stopped me just now, I would have walked right into death." The teacher nodded gravely. Exactly. Once a plant awakens desolation, its surroundings become a dead zone. Anything that enters will have its life force consumed. I once studied records of another desolation plant, deep in Song City's forbidden ancient tree. The decayed giant tree had corrupted the forest into a death zone. Any life form that approached was pierced through instantly. Under the heavenly changes, plant mutations are not to be underestimated. And of all known plant attributes, desolation is the strongest. Until now, only the ancient tree and that vine bore it. But now a new one has appeared. At that moment, a hand clapped a researcher's shoulder. "I've already heard the situation." Turning, they saw none other than Major Han. His voice rang out. "All researchers, change into protective suits. We're moving into the contamination zone." Though terrified, they had no choice but to obey, suiting up. As they advanced, scouts reported no sign of the desolation source, but the aura is weakening. In just 5 minutes, it's dropped to 25. A moment later, Major Han glanced back at Su Qingying. "Let's probe deeper." The two pressed their palms against the ground, unleashing their detection abilities. Green and blue energy snaked through the area, converging into a blackened pit. Their eyes widened in unison. The source was dug out. If someone can remove the core of a desolation zone, his identity demands investigation. Su Qingying spoke quietly. "Captain Han, I know what you're thinking, but there's no trace of that powerhouse's aura here." But Major Han frowned at his tablet. "According to our data tracking, one man's movements match both anomaly sites." Taking the tablet, Su Qingying's breath caught. The name written was Fong Yi. Major Han said firmly, "Qingying, I'll send you all of his records. This man is very likely the same pioneer you encountered before. From here on, your association will handle it." After a pause, Su Qingying nodded softly. "Understood." 2 hours later, Fong, he had already placed the small flower into a pot. "Haha, my first time raising a flower. Can't let you go without a home, right? This is your little nest now, so stop clinging to my hand. Since you've awakened the desolation attribute, with training you'll become one of my strongest hidden allies." Staring at the flower, Fong Yi thought, "This desolation power is too unique. In battle, it'll definitely give me an edge, maybe even unexpected surprises. And with its plain, ordinary look, even if Lin Yi happens to see it, she won't suspect a thing. On the battlefield, strength is only part of victory. The real key is who has more hidden cards." Just then, his phone suddenly rang. The caller ID, none other than Lao Wang, a friend he hadn't spoken to in years. That guy, Wang Liang, my childhood neighbor, my desk mate from grade school through junior high. We were supposed to stick together in high school too, but he suddenly ditched us to enlist in the army. Fong Yi picked up with a smile. "You brat, you're back." "Yeah, Fong Yi, let's grab a drink." "Same place as always." Fong Yi frowned. "Out of nowhere." But Wang Liang replied mysteriously, "I've got a huge secret to tell you. Just don't faint when you hear it." With that, Wang Liang hung up. On the other end, however, Wang Liang reported into his comms, "Sir, I've carried out your orders. But I request one thing. If he's not the one we're looking for, can you guarantee his safety?" The officer on the line rapped the table firmly. "Complete your mission. Don't say more than you should. If he isn't the one, then, as his friend, give him a warning, nothing more." Meanwhile, Fang Yi and Wang Liang raised their glasses with a cheerful toast. Fang Yi sighed. Judging from his friend's look, life in the army hadn't been easy. Even this jokester Wang Liang had grown far more mature. After downing a glass, Wang Liang said with emotion, 3 years in the military, a lot to think about. How about you, brother? Fang Yi chuckled. Not bad. Got myself a college diploma. Watching him, Fang Yi thought back. Last life, he never got to see this old friend again. In a world thrown into chaos, news of comrades was scarce. As a soldier, Wang Liang might have died, nameless on some forgotten battlefield. This time, could he change his friend's fate? Wang Liang's tone grew heavy. Tell me, have you run into anything strange lately? Like zombie-like monsters straight out of a movie. Fang Yi froze. So he really came with a purpose? Sure, it wasn't surprising that the army knew about spiritual energy revival, but this question, was he probing me? He asked directly, "What are you really trying to say?" Wang Liang sighed. "I came here today to warn you, not to comfort you. Months from now, or maybe a year, our so-called diplomas and wealth will be worthless scraps of paper. Everything will be reshuffled." That made Fang Yi's heart jolt. Ordinary soldiers would be forced under strict confidentiality, signing agreements never to leak a single word about spiritual energy revival. Which meant, the truth was the military already suspected him and was tracking his movements. Wang Liang, being his childhood friend, had been sent to test him. Seeing his silence, Wang Liang reassured, "Don't worry. As long as you don't repeat what I said today, you'll be fine." Fang, he felt a sting of guilt. He had been playing dumb, refusing to cooperate. Yet Wang Liang still risked breaking discipline to give him a friendly warning. Just then, Wang Liang's phone rang sharply. He answered, and a harsh voice barked through the line. "Wang Liang, emergency recall. 10 minutes to report at the target site." Hanging up, Wang Liang shot to his feet. "Sorry, brother. Mission's urgent. I have to go. Head home on your own. I can't see you off." But Fang, he stood up suddenly. "Is this about spiritual energy revival? Let me go with you." His sudden request left Wang Liang visibly stunned. "Fang," he laid it all on the table. "Take me with you. Didn't your superiors tell you to meet me today? Relax. I may not know what info they gave you, but I know you wouldn't harm me." Deep down, Fang Yi knew it. Whatever the military was handling had a tie into the world's upheaval. But since the Spirit Energy Association already dealt with anomalies, what role was the army playing now? This was his chance to find out. The scene shifted. Wang Liang led Fang Yi to military restricted zone number 19. The moment they reached the gate, Fang Yi was struck by the overwhelming density of spiritual energy, stronger than even the pollution zones. At the entrance, Wang Liang pulled out his credentials and shouted, "Wang Liang, returning to duty." After verification, the gate opened, letting the two inside. Yet the instant they stepped into the base, boom, an explosion tore through the air. As the smoke cleared, countless soldiers unleashed spiritual energy, locking down a vicious beast in battle. The beast thrashed wildly, lashing out at everyone around it. Fang Yi gasped. "Is this a fusion attribute?" A nearby officer, Jilan, answered coldly, "Correct. The abnormal fusion of darkness and fire has made this hound vicious and savage. Several soldiers are already badly injured." She snapped at Wang Liang. "How dare you bring an outsider into the restricted zone without authorization?" She snorted, then barked, "Forget it. The situation is critical. We need you. Get in formation." Jilan glanced at Fang Yi, her thoughts sharp. So this is Fang Yi? But he doesn't seem special at all. His spiritual energy is only faintly active. Could he really not be the one? No matter, now isn't the time to wonder. She declared, "Since you're Wang Liang's friend, I won't say more. This is a restricted zone. Once inside, your life is your own, and everything you see must remain secret." Fang Yi gave a firm nod. Jilan shouted, "Zhang Mi, Liu go." At once, the two leapt forward. In the next instant, Jilan drew her weapon and unleashed a barrage. The violent strike forced a shrill howl from the mutant beast. But instead of falling, it roared louder, growing even more ferocious. Ji Lan cried out, "Its mutation is worsening. Liu, watch out." Just as the claws were about to strike Liu, a bullet ripped through the air, knocking the beast back. Ji Lan ordered sharply, "Don't let your guard down. Keep your distance. Kill it before it completes its evolution." Fang Yi watched, stunned. These were disciplined soldiers, trusting each other, moving as one. Their synergy unleashed strength far beyond the individual. Suddenly, his eyes widened. He shouted at the top of his lungs, "Run! You can't handle it!" A surge of violet energy erupted from the beast's body. Ji Lan commanded, "Raise the threat level. The restricted zone has escalated. No one is allowed to retreat." She growled. The hound has fully fused with darkness. It's completed its evolution. The beast's eyes locked on a Wang Liang, murderous intent blazing. Ji Lan and Fang Yi both knew this was bad. Before either could react, the beast's strike sent Wang Liang flying. Ji Lan roared, "Update the operation plan. In Zone 019, the C-Class mutant hound has fully evolved into B-Class." Wang Liang staggered back, coughing up blood. Fang Yi rushed to catch him. "Brother, are you okay?" Wang Liang's arm cracked with fissures, trembling uncontrollably, yet he forced out, "I'm fine. I just channeled spiritual energy into the restraining collar and got hit with backlash." He still managed a hoarse whisper, "Don't worry. Zone 19 has all of us." Fang Yi's chest tightened at the sight. Meanwhile, Jilan's voice boomed, "Everyone, whatever it takes, even if it costs us our lives, we cannot let a B-Class mutant escape this zone." But the next instant, a shadow flashed past her. Fang Yi's hand blazed with lightning as he charged forward. Jilan shouted in shock, "Fang Yi, what are you doing?" Fang Yi roared back, "So arrogant, huh? Then taste the wrath of divine thunder." He dodged a swipe, vaulted above the beast's head, and slammed a storm of lightning down on its skull. With a single strike, the beast was smashed hard into the ground. The shockwave forced soldiers back several steps. Wide-eyed, they gasped, "Am I seeing things?" That was a B-Class mutant even Commander Ji Lan couldn't handle alone. Wang Liang, stunned, stammered, "Commander, could my brother really be?" Ji Lan's face turned solemn. She nodded. "Yes, your friend is the tyrant." Fang Yi glared coldly at the mutant hound. "Still not dead? Fine, then I'll end it. Commander, Lao Wang, fall back." Ji Lan didn't hesitate for a second and ordered the entire unit to retreat. Her heart was shaken beyond words. A B-Class aberration, normally requiring formations, coordination, and men ready to sacrifice, was being crushed by one man. What kind of power was this? She had to admit it. This was lightning at its absolute peak. Even in the whole of Xia Nation, he was already among the top tier. And when spiritual energy revival fully arrived, how terrifying would his evolution become? At that moment, Fang Yi raised his hand toward the sky. In an instant, a vortex swirled above, arcs of lightning dancing wildly. With a single sweep of his arm, thunderbolts slammed down, reducing the mutant hound to ashes. Watching him, Jilan whispered to herself, "He truly deserved the name Tyrant." Soldiers around them shivered. "My neck's gone cold, my head's buzzing. This lightning is 1,000 times scarier than darkness. You might survive corrosion, but thunder? No chance." Fang Yi walked toward Wang Liang. "Lao Wang, it's done." Wang Liang rushed up, shouting, "Damn, you scare me to death. I never thought my brother was this strong. Sorry, I figured you might be a forerunner, but orders are orders. I had no choice but to drag you in." Fang Yi didn't blame him. He patted his shoulder. 3 years apart, and you're acting distant? You think I don't know you?" As they spoke, Jilan approached from behind. She extended her hand solemnly. "Fang Yi, thank you for your help." The soldiers were stunned. Their high-ranking commander was showing such respect. Fang Yi smiled faintly. "Don't mention it. I just did it to save my friend." Jilan introduced herself. "I'm Jilan, guardian of Zone 019. You saved this zone, and I have to report it truthfully. Leave me your contact information." Fang Yi agreed without fuss. Wang Liang couldn't help grinning inside. His childhood friend receiving a salute from their commander was pure satisfaction. Jilan went on, "Fang Yi, your strength surpasses most forerunners enlisted by the army. I want to invite you to join the Xian Nation's forces. But with my rank as just his own guardian, I'm hardly qualified. Inwardly, she marveled even more. His cultivation should only be at Ghost Mansion Realm, 3 stars, yet he had already surpassed sovereigns of the spirit creation realm. Hearing Ji-Lan's words, Fong Yi asked calmly, Commander Ji, are you saying you feel unworthy to invite me? Ji-Lan nodded without flinching. Yes, there's nothing to deny or feel ashamed about. We were ordered by higher-ups to learn more about you, not to drag you into this incident. I believe they'll come to invite you personally. Her politeness made Fong Yi laugh. No need to be so formal. I actually respect all of you. Not everyone has the courage to risk their life to protect others. I've never seen soldiers fight with my own eyes before. What you just did, it moved me. So, if something troublesome comes up, you can call me for help, just as you once protected us civilians during peacetime. Of course, there's one condition. Don't interfere with my training. Don't restrict me. Ji-Lan hadn't expected such a reply. Fong Yi added, Time's about up. I should be going. As he left, thoughts churned in his mind. Now he understood the army's true role. Stationed in zones rich with spiritual energy, they trained on-site to maintain superior combat power, while also serving as a barrier between civilians and the abnormal. Watching his back, Ji-Lan told Wang Liang, Your friend can no longer be described as simply extraordinary. What we saw today is just the tip of his power, and that's already far beyond our reach. A forerunner reaching this level so quickly means he has unmatched instinct, courage, and ability combined. Hearing Ji-Lan's praise, Wang Liang said, Commander, if that's the case, can't we at least improve the offer? If you feel unfit to recruit him, let me, his childhood friend, go to him. You're still gloating after he left? Ji-Lan snapped. Get over here and help me clean up the site. Back home, Fong Yi began training immediately. Though his identity was exposed, he hadn't revealed any power beyond lightning. Judging from their attitude, that might not be a bad thing. He now knew. His attribute was extremely rare, perhaps unique, and naturally counter darkness. This was exactly what the military wanted. To win him over, they wouldn't threaten or suppress him. They'd grant him influence, faster paths to power, and top-tier intel. He had also clarified the division between the Army and the Spirit Energy Association. The Army was the blade in the shadows, the nation's sharp shield. The association patched gaps, hunting stray anomalies in cities to keep residents safe. The government, on one hand, used restricted zones to shield civilians, and on the other signaled the coming spiritual energy revival, buying people time so they wouldn't be destroyed and displaced from the outset. No wonder this zone is so rich in energy, Fong Yi thought. Even taming wasteland power didn't feel like this. Just a short stay in the zone left his body brimming with spiritual energy, a sign of an imminent breakthrough. Meanwhile, Lin Yi was on her way home from grocery shopping, wondering if her cousin had returned. If he has, I can finally test my improved cooking on him, she thought. Suddenly, she saw a surge of energy shooting into the sky in the distance. She froze. What is that? Could it be a Ghost Mansion realm breakthrough? But she quickly denied it. She had never felt a presence this terrifying before. Could someone be breaking through to the spirit creation realm? Lin Yi stared at the surge. This wasn't Ghost Mansion realm power. Was it really spirit creation? Such a powerful forerunner. Right here near me. Meanwhile, in the government base, a giant screen flashed red warning signals. Alert! Anomaly level at 99. Anomaly level at 99. Spiritual energy fluctuation detected 5 kilometers southeast of the city. Major Hanley rushed to ask, What's happening? All units, move to the target district immediately. Even Su Qingying gasped. How could such a powerful anomaly go undetected? That reading alone could wipe out an entire city. Could it mean a new spirit creation realm forerunner has appeared? Or is a great disaster about to strike? Perhaps both? Hanley barked in his radio. Request immediate reinforcements from headquarters. Deploy every piece of advanced equipment. Everything short of weapons of mass destruction. Just then, a subordinate ran in. Major Han, the alarm's been lifted. Anomaly ruled out. It was a forerunner's breakthrough. Meanwhile, Fong Yi exhaled a deep breath. He had broken through to spirit creation realm. First star. Yet aside from his body feeling lighter, little else seemed different. Suddenly, his phone buzzed with a message from Wang Liang. "Brother, check this out." Insider intel confirms it was an anomaly in the pollution zone. And this is the second time. They say a forerunner once purified the contamination at Qingqing University, but for some reason, the anomaly has resurfaced. Don't tell anyone I told you this. And listen, your power's way too strong. Even my commander admits he can't control you. I can't cover for you anymore. Be careful out there. Reading the message, Fang Yi thought, Wang Liang was right. This was why he stayed cautious with the military and the Spirit Energy Association. Being too high profile rarely brought benefits. That's why he had hidden his Sunflame attribute in Crimson Fireblade arts. He replied to Wang Liang, "Relax. I'll be careful. Your brother's still got trump cards." Moments later, the door creaked open. Lin Yi walked in. "I'm back. Cousin, have you eaten? I brought food for you." Fang Yi smiled. "Thanks. Just leave it there. I'll come in a moment." Watching Fang Yi lounging lazily, Lin Yi couldn't help but sigh. Her cousin was upright, free of bad habits, but far too lazy, always lying around at home. He didn't even bother attending his college classes, just glued to his phone all day. Though whether he attended college no longer mattered. Foreigners like them spent every day chasing heavenly opportunities, constantly disguising themselves in front of ordinary people, while her cousin lived carefree and relaxed. Yet in this very region, a spirit creation realm sovereign had just shaken the heavens. Once other foreigners noticed, the news would spread fast. Forget it, she thought. When that time comes, I'll protect my cousin. At least I can repay him with memories. Lin Yi had no idea that Fang Yi was actually scrolling through the news on his phone. Watching the screen, he thought, first it was heat waves, now wildfires, and all carrying Yang attributes. The blaze spread fast and fierce. Trees and flower beds around the playground had been reduced to ash, the area now sealed off. On screen, bullet comments flooded in. "Holy hell, that's a huge fire. Someone cooking hot pot in the dorms blew the circuit. Wait, am I seeing this right? Special forces showed up. Since when do special forces handle this kind of thing? Classic Qingbei privilege. Start a fire, and soldiers show up to babysit." The clip ended abruptly. Compared to the Northgate incident, this looked even worse. Fang Yi mused. What difference would this Yang anomaly show? Better to see it firsthand. He needed to contact Commander Jilan. By the next morning, reporters crowded the gates of Qingqing University. Is it true the fire couldn't be put out? Were there casualties? Why hasn't this been on the news? What about student safety and flammable materials on campus? Just then, two people approached. The guards quickly opened the gates with deference. The reporters grumbled. Who are they? Acting so important? We're locked out, yet they stroll right in. Inside, Fang Yi saw the scorched grounds now sealed off. Jilan told him, the officials named this blaze Heaven Fire. It came without warning, erupted suddenly, couldn't be extinguished. It will only burn until it consumes everything it desires. Jilan asked, Fang Yi, I'm heading to the principal's office. Want to wait here or come with me? He replied, you go ahead, I'll stay. Be careful then. We'll meet later. Once she left, Fang Yi strode toward the central restricted zone. He touched the ground, thinking, the scorched earth is already cold. No trace of Heaven Fire's spiritual energy remains. Can't collect anything. Guess I was overthinking. Suddenly, a voice called out behind him. Fang Yi. Turning, he found none other than Chu Qingli. It really is you? What are you doing here? She asked in surprise. Her best friend perked up at the name. Wait, he's that ex-boyfriend you mentioned? The one who only got into a junior college. She sneered. Buddy, I get it. You're still hung up on Qingli. But the reality gap's too wide. Give it up. Hearing the words, hung up on her, Fang Yi could only stare speechlessly. Students nearby began whispering. Isn't that Chu Qingli? Who's that guy? No idea. Probably another pitiful admirer chasing her. Never seen him. Must not be from our school. What's up with security? Didn't they tighten checks? How'd they let outsiders stroll in? Ugh, these attention seekers are so annoying. A pockmarked student stepped up, jabbing a finger at him. Listen, buddy. Qingli is our campus queen now. Think carefully. Do you know how many guys way better than you are chasing her? You're not even in the running. Go home. And this place is under lockdown. How did you even get in? If you don't explain, I'll report you to campus security. Meanwhile, Chu Qingli's face flushed red. She thought bitterly. Didn't he once say he'd never regret breaking up? So why's he here now? Truly two-faced. While the crowd hurled insults at Fong, Jilan returned from her meeting and asked, "Is this your friend?" Fong Yi replied calmly, "Just a high school classmate." "Not a friend." Jilan nodded knowingly. "So only classmates, I see." Her gaze swept over the students, and they shivered under the crushing pressure. Asterisk, what terrifying presence. Who is this woman? Why does she know Fong Yi asterisk? But Jilan had no time for them. She turned to Fong Yi. "I just spoke with the principal. Heaven Fire is far more serious than we thought. He'll take us to the origin of the blaze. And remember, your current identity here is a special military consultant. You have to come." A sharp command rang out. "Clear the area." During the campus lockdown, no one is allowed near the field. An elderly man with a cane appeared, drawing gasps. It's the principal. He's always busy, impossible to see. Even the vice principal struggles to meet him. They say no one has ever seen him smile. Is he showing up for that woman and Fong Yi? The pockmarked student still sneered. The principal's here. He must be about to arrest those two intruders. To everyone's shock, the principal smiled and said, "Ah, you must be Consultant Fong, recommended by Commander G? I've been overwhelmed by these anomalies, fearing for the students' safety. It's a relief to have you here. The matter of the playground, I'll leave it in your hands." Chu Qingli stood frozen in disbelief. Other students whispered in awe. "Did I see that right?" The principal bowed to that boy. He must hold some extraordinary status. No wonder he could walk in. Look at this treatment. Who still thinks he's just chasing after Chu Qingli? Even if she chased him, she might not catch up. Haven't you noticed? He never once acknowledged the campus queen. The principal led them toward the core of the field. Along the way, he explained, "After the anomaly at the North Gate subsided, I thought things were over. But a few nights ago, the first field suddenly caught fire. Flames the fire trucks couldn't touch. Thankfully, it was at night, and no students were harmed, and we sealed it off. But then the second field, the third. One fire we could explain, but several in succession? That defies reason. I saw the flames descend from the sky, crimson fire hanging midair. Fortunately, the later fires were extinguished. Only this one remains." Fong Yi lifted his head, the stench of char and smoke stinging his nose. He asked, "So this basketball hoop was the ignition point?" The principal nodded. "Yes, this spot alone has never gone out." At that moment, Jilan pulled out a device. Noticing Fong Yi's confusion, she explained, "This is a basic anomaly detector. Once readings exceed 10, ordinary citizens must be evacuated. Their lives are too fragile. Above 10, it's practically a natural disaster to them." No sooner had she spoken than the number shot up to 60. Jilan gasped. "This is bad. At this level, not only Qingxing University, but the entire city could be at risk. We'll need 3 Ghost Axe 3-star and 7 Ghost Axe 2-star soldiers to form a defensive formation. Only those with the purest energy and the most stable realms will do." Before she finished, Fong Yi leapt straight into the barricade. A wave of crimson fire roared at him instantly. The detector spiked to 110. Jilan cried out, "That's S-class anomaly levels. How could he charge in alone? Even the strongest warlords wouldn't dare." Inside the flames, Fong Yi walked forward steadily. He thought, "Last time, my young attribute shielded me from thunder. This heaven fire should protect me too. But as long as it shields me, I can't touch the source flames. Without that, I can't trigger my cultivation script. I need to get closer to the core itself." With that resolve, he reached the basketball hoop. Suddenly, a colossal dragon of fire lunged at him. Fong Yi's eyes hardened. Instead of retreating, he charged head-on. Yet, as the fire dragon lunged at him, Fong Yi calmly raised his right hand. "Remove Yang's shield," he said coolly. The blazing beast bore down on him, the searing heat pressing like a furnace. The system's voice chimed in, detected, massive heaven fire attribute surge. Fong Yi sneered. Heaven fire truly lives up to its name, fiercer than even death's desolation. But I'll make it mine. Activating ultimate computation, compilation complete. You have obtained the Heaven Fire technique, 9-Dragon Heaven Fire sealing art. 9 dragons of Heaven Fire, banish all evil, seal all demons. Technique requires no cultivation. It is automatically unlocked. Extracting attribute. Acquired. 9-Dragon Heaven Fire Sealing Art. At once, blazing chains erupted behind Fong. They whipped forward, binding the dragon of fire tight. Jilon gasped from outside. That's sealing energy. I've seen high-ranking Forerunners seal anomalies before. The method was different, but this aura is the same. Fong roared, "Lock it down." The flames twisted violently, dragged inward, condensing into a sphere wrapped in chains. The seal was complete. Fong lifted the fiery sphere with one hand and set it upon the basketball hoop. He told the principal, "The heaven fire is sealed here. Do not unseal it. Don't renovate the court, and don't let anyone near. This way it won't spread." The principal nodded quickly. "Rest assured, we won't touch it. We have plenty of courts anyway." Fong, he chuckled. "Qingbei really is extravagant. 7 or 8 courts to spare." Jilon cut in. "Principal, I need a private word with consultant Fong." Of course, the principal said hastily. Jilon stepped closer and said bluntly, "Fong, you've been hiding deep." Fong, smirked. "Not really. Heaven Fire was just tough to deal with." Jilan's eyes sharpened. "Don't play dumb. I'm talking about your true talent and your realm. Strong Forerunners all carry secrets, especially ones like you." She continued seriously, "Listen, I can't order you, but I hope you'll hear me out. In this time of upheaval, Xia Nation needs someone like you. When spirit energy fully revives, your existence will be like nuclear deterrence. Every military zone, every association will compete to recruit you. Other nations might even step in, offering conditions beyond imagination. I won't deny my own interest. If you join the military, it would give our sector a powerful ally. So think carefully now. Better to be prepared than caught off guard later." Fong chuckled. "What I don't get is, why do you and Old Wong both act like you're unworthy to recruit me?" Jilon answered, "Because there's that legendary division. Their strength is monstrous. I figured you'd be drawn to them instead. I've never seen them myself, but word is they've been swamped with action lately. Their movements are all the buzz in the military." She shook her head and smiled faintly. "Enough talk. Come on. The principal insists on treating us to the university canteen." After hearing Jilan's words, Fong thought, so even Xia's strongest division is stirring up chatter across the military. That can only mean they're facing terrifying anomalies, creatures far beyond today's Forerunners. From her tone, Fong could tell some Forerunners had already reached the spirit creation realm, or higher. The day of full revival is close, and my preparations still feel lacking. He mused, "The heaven fire I absorb at the field. How can I best use it? Wild, unpredictable, it burns all in its path. Perfect against endlessly multiplying abominations. Yes, it matches my crimson fire blade arts perfectly. With this enchantment, the effect will be devastating." Fong headed to the back mountain to test his new power. But as he reached the entrance, he froze. A sign stood there, * dangerous area. Do not enter. Strange. No anomaly here, yet sealed. The military wouldn't act so fast. Only the Spirit Energy Association knows I train here. Did they reserve this place for me? If so, I won't be polite. Suddenly, his senses prickled. Wait, something snuck in. This aura is just like the factories, though weaker. A mutated monkey crouched ahead, studying him warily. Fong, he sneered. "So you've gained wits. Try to gauge me before striking? Then watch closely." He pressed his hand onto his tang blade. The system chimed. * detected heaven fire, a tribute of upper flame. Inject in a tang blade. *. Fong, he chose yes. In an instant, heaven fire coursed along the blade. Unquenchable flames, burning without end. With my crimson fire blade arts, let's see what happens. You'll be the test. He leveled his gaze on the monkey. With a swing, 2 blazing dragons roared out toward it. The monkey froze in shock, then bolted, scrambling away, as if screaming "holy shit" in silence. Fong, he watched the aftermath, nodding. Good. The flames are at least twice as strong as before, and they don't harm me. Indeed, when his fingers brushed the blade, it was cool to the touch. In that case, let's hunt the pest down. Meanwhile, a girl was live streaming. Guys, I swear I'm not a fraud. I've always been absurdly lucky. Content just comes to me. She grinned at the camera. First day streaming, And I'm telling you, it's going to be big. The chat exploded. Go film the heat at Ching Ching's North Gate. I'll drop a rocket if you do. Forget this. Everyone's watching the Heaven Fire vids. They're so real they got deleted everywhere. Streamer, film Heaven Fire and I'll eat shit upside down. Suddenly, her expression froze. A mutated monkey lunged, tackling her to the ground. Her phone clattered to the side. The camera captured it perfectly. The chat erupted. WTF? Did she just run into a ghost? This acting sucks. The effects are fake. But the monkey's claws were real, clamping her throat as she choked. Just as it prepared to finish her, Fong Yi's 2 fire dragons tore onto the scene with a roar. The stream exploded. What the hell? Fire dragons. Top-tier CGI. Viewership spiked like wildfire. The shaken streamer staggered up, about to ask her savior's name. But a pillar of fire erupted in front of her. She snatched up her phone, screaming, I got it. I filmed it. Someone's standing in the flames. A god. A god saved me. Soon, the photo spread like wildfire online. A blade tearing the heavens, a god descending. It's just Heaven Fire, nothing else. The mysterious man with the flaming strike, the king of fire. Views surged past 13 million, topping the trending list. On campus, Scarface shouted, Qingli, look, a god descended to save people. Cultivators are real. Heaven Fire is real. But Chu Qingli, distracted, muttered, don't believe it. It's just CGI and staged effects. Yet when her eyes fell on the photo, she froze. That's Fong Yi. Scarface smirked, see? I told you. It's real. He looks amazing. Why aren't you saying anything? Chu Qingli clenched her teeth, whispering, this video has to be fake, just effects. No way it's him. Maybe the figure just looks similar. If it really were him, he would have taken this chance to get back at me. Damn it, I'll never bow my head. Elsewhere, a young woman showed her phone. Doesn't he look familiar? Like the forerunner who saved us. Lin Yi frowned. I think so too. And I just heard a spirit creation expert move near my home. Could it be the same person? Even Fong Yi's former teammates stumbled across the post. Broly, you think that's him? He looks even stronger now. Holy crap. That blade swing is identical. We really did cling to a big thigh. Inside a high-rise, someone said gravely, the city's crisis is growing. Our forerunners are stretched thin. Rumor has it the military's already in talks with Fong Yi. Hearing this, Su Qingying rose and declared, I believe he'll help us. In a military conference, an officer slammed the table. To break into spirit creation in such a short time. What kind of monster is he? Even anomalies tremble before him. How many high-level attributes does he hold? A lieutenant colonel replied, 3, maybe more. With potential like that, our so-called deterrence is a joke. Recruiting him is our only path. The higher-ups are ready to meet him, but they haven't found the face to lower themselves. After all, every top forerunner used to come from our ranks. Find out what he lacks, gear, weapons, training grounds. Deliver everything, and suppress that stream and the viral footage. Fong Yi had no idea the entire spiritual world of Xia was now watching him. That kid, he's worth keeping an eye on. Scene shift inside a hospital. Someone whispered to a patient in bed, Teacher, Xia may finally have hope. With someone like this, your chance of waking rises again. A day later, back at Fong Yi's home, eating his meal, Fong Yi mused. Yesterday's uproar. Who would have thought a streamer dared enter the back mountain for clicks? Bold but reckless. By now, the footage was gone, the stream deleted. Obviously, the military or the association had intervened. Then it struck him. Lin Yi hadn't come home all night. No message either. Even on a mission, she wouldn't go silent. Something felt off. He dialed her number. The subscriber you dialed is not in service. His gut tightened. Something's wrong. I have to find her. Meanwhile, Lin Yi and the woman were trapped in a forest. How long have we been stuck here? Can you tell? The woman whispered weakly. Maybe 10 hours. I lost count. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I thought it was just a phantom at first. Blood still dripped from the wounds across her body. Lin Yi gripped her hand. Don't apologize. The fault's mine. I'm not strong enough. Stay alert. Save your strength. She muttered under her breath. If only I had power like that man. But as confusion clouded them, a shadow loomed behind. Lin Yi spun around and shouted, Watch out! She unleashed her ability, firing at the monster. In the next instant, its head exploded from blast. When they saw it clearly, both women gasped. These are the people who died here. They've been turned into walking corpses by the anomaly. It's toying with us, trying to turn us into the same. Our attacks can't pierce the black mist. Our energy is draining fast. And worst of all, we don't even know where the real body is. It's waiting for us to burn out. Then it'll devour us bit by bit. To it, we're just rats in a cage. And in this domain, it's invincible. Suddenly, a blood-red eyeball floated into view. A heartbeat later, the eye began to split apart. In the blink of an eye, it multiplied into 20, hovering in the haze. The woman roared, slashing down, "Die, you bastard!" But Lin Yi warned sharply, "It's getting impatient. Don't lower your guard." Her words froze as she stiffened in place. Behind her, a massive eye loomed, staring directly at her. The air turned suffocating. Lin Yi thought bitterly, "So this is it? Am I going to die here?" She could no longer hear the woman's voice. "Of course. We've already been swallowed by the dark." She sighed inwardly. "This is my fault, too arrogant, thinking the two of us could finish this mission alone. So be it. The path of cultivation is paved with death. I always knew I might vanish in some nameless corner. But what will the world look like then? What role will the Foreigners play when spiritual energy fully revives? That grand future, I'll never see it." With tears of regret, Lin Yi shut her eyes. But just as she sank into despair, a bolt of blue lightning split the dark, like a sword carving the sky. The next instant, Fong Yi descended from above, a savior crashing into the abyss. Seeing her alive, relief washed over him. Barely made it. But now my secret is fully exposed. Lin Yi's eyes widened in shock. "It's my cousin." As Fong Yi's thunder ripped apart the darkness, the domain collapsed. Lin Yi finally knew the truth. It really was her cousin. He had saved her, and he was no ordinary man. But before she could take it in, the anomaly appeared behind him, lunging to strike. She screamed, "Behind you. The core is on your right." Yet before her cry finished, Fong Yi had already drawn his blade. He thought coldly, "Perfect. Let's see what heaven fire can do against the dark." In a flash, the crimson fire blade surged forth, a dragon of flames tearing through the void. With a roar, it engulfed the anomaly, shredding it into nothingness. At the same time, the woman stirred, opening her eyes weakly. "E, are we dead? Holy crap, what's with this sea of fire? Did we just fall into hell with that thing?" Seeing the woman still panicking, Lin Yi comforted her. "Calm down. Look closely, we're still alive." The woman checked herself and realized she truly was. But when her gaze shifted to Fong Yi, she gasped. "Wait, you're—" Her eyes went wide with disbelief. "It's you, isn't it? Back in Manhwa town with the death vines. You were the one who saved me." Fong Yi rubbed his cheek awkwardly. "That easy to recognize me, huh?" Lin Yi hurriedly cut in. "Hold on. You're saying that fire element powerhouse who saved us was my cousin?" The woman nearly screamed. "Oh my god. The super powerhouse is your cousin? You told me he was ordinary. That's the man who sliced through the wasteland in one strike, forced a Ghost Axe 3-star veteran to crack, and even caught Sister Garan's attention." Lin Yi's heart trembled. "So, my cousin is that high-level fire forerunner?" But just now, he had unleashed pure thunder energy to shatter the black mist. Fire and lightning, two top-tier elements in one body. Could the mysterious expert who broke through to the spirit creation realm in our district really be him? Since there was no point hiding, Fong Yi spoke bluntly. All right, it's me. But let me ask you this. You both know how dangerous a dark attribute anomaly is. Why did only you two come? Where are your teammates?" The woman sighed. "Wu Mao's seriously ill. His family locked him down. The old man picked up a tougher mission. And the others, well, we're not always together." Lin Yi lowered her head, guilt in her voice. "This time I underestimated it. I thought breaking through to Ghost Axe 3-star would be enough." Fong Yi recalled her being trapped earlier and thought, these teammates all have their own agendas. This squad won't last. Still, this woman does have loyalty. She's covering for them in front of outsiders. As for my cousin, always cautious and smart, she probably sensed it too. With that thought, Fong Yi said calmly, "Cousin, since you and your friend already know who I am, and I trust you both, Why don't we form a team? But this stays between us. Hearing the offer, the young woman lit up. Really? You mean it, boss? Yes, absolutely. My lips are sealed. Ah, I'm totally riding Yi's luck today. Watching Fong Yi's serious look, Lin Yi thought, he's this strong, so he must have known I'm a forerunner, and he's been protecting me in silence. On this lonely path, having a dependable family member at your side, it's pure joy. She grinned. Deal. Thanks, cousin. I'll fry 2 extra eggs for dinner. Just then, Lin Yi's phone buzzed. A new task from Garan. Mission notice, Extreme Dark Zone. Proceed to collect an item related to the dark attribute. Enroll only after careful consideration. Fong Yi exhaled. Dark attribute, huh? E, do you know this extreme dark zone? She nodded. A bit. It borders Xia's strictly forbidden dark sector. The darkness there is overwhelming. Forerunners avoid it. Most city anomalies are seepage from that place. The authorities never truly explored it. There were serious incidents. Fong Yi said, then we should try. Ask for mission details. The woman shook her head. She rarely explains. Sister Garan is cryptic. Fong Yi's mind clicked. A forbidden zone with heavy casualties, yet Garan can issue missions there. Either she's a reckless rebel, or her identity is anything but ordinary. More likely she's tied to the military or the association. Lin Yi sent a probe. Sister Garan, we want to sign up. What exactly do we do? Unexpectedly, Garan replied in detail. Objective, collect Shirtsue flower. Rewards exceed prior missions. The extreme dark zone is saturated with the dark attribute. Danger far above normal. Team up before entering. Both of them blurted out. Whoa, Sister Garan is being specific? The footer added. This may involve S-class anomalies with a very high mortality rate. If you lack a strong, reliable forerunner lead, do not sign up lightly. Meanwhile, a beautiful woman was holding her phone, saying, that's it then. Let's see if that man is willing. Hearing the phrase, a strong and reliable pioneer, Fong Yi thought to himself, that's way too blunt. Might as well spell it out. I know someone like you will be interested. Do you dare come? He then chuckled and told Lin Yi, cousin, looks like she's calling me out. Interesting. Deep down, Fong Yi had already made up his mind. I really do want to set foot in the dark zone. Lin Yi quickly replied, Sister Garan, our team has 3 people. Over on Garan's side, her subordinates were still doubtful about such a small squad. But Garan calmly said, it doesn't matter. If he truly is the kind of pioneer Summer Nation can entrust its future to, he'll come. One subordinate worried aloud. But if he doesn't come, won't this entire batch of pioneers be doomed? Garan shook her head. If he doesn't come, it only means the time of fate hasn't arrived yet. She raised her voice. Do you really think the task of harvesting the Shirtsue flower is just to send powerful pioneers to their deaths? A mission this close to certain death has a purpose completely opposite to what it seems. It's about building up the strength of Summer Nation. Only by harvesting the Shirtsue flower can we save more pioneers. Whether it's the future backbone of our country, or the top-tier warriors who've already gone forward with no certainty of return, we must gather as many Shirtsue flowers as possible. Our teacher, the only pioneer to ever reach the Vajra realm, must be healed and awakened with this flower. Her tone hardened. The value of a Vajra realm powerhouse after spiritual revival is no less than nuclear weapons today. They're our trump card when negotiating with other nations. So even if it costs a few Garans, a few divisions, or countless pioneers, it's worth it. Her subordinates exchanged worried looks. One finally said, the mission may be vital, but your health is just as important. Hearing that, Garan's eyes welled up, her voice trembling slightly. A moment later, she roared, yes, my life is important, because it was bought back by my teammates' sacrifice. As soon as the words left her mouth, regret flashed across her face. She lowered her voice. Sorry, I shouldn't have snapped at you. Her subordinate quickly realized it wasn't her fault and blurted, Sister Lon, it was my mistake. Did your headache flare up again? Garan shook her head. It's fine. Not time for medicine yet. I just remembered some things, forget it. It's all in the past. Her mind drifted back to that day, to the voice of her old squad leader, retreat immediately, and the words of her dying teammate. The Dark Zone is truly a remarkable place. Xiaolan. The mission for the Shirtsue flower is in your hands now. For our teacher, for Summer Nation, for everyone. Garen had cried out, "No, I won't leave, Captain." But the captain reached out his hand, passing his attribute power to her. Use this if you must, but you have to live. Returning to the present, Garen stared at her palm, sorrow filling her eyes. They entrusted me with their power, yet they never knew. If the Shirtsue flower is tainted by blood or harvested incomplete, it becomes useless. Time flew by. Over an hour later, the married woman complained. "What? We still have to walk a few more miles." She grumbled, "Hey, you guys are so strong. Can't you just fly us part of the way?" Lin Yi sighed. Spiritual energy hasn't reached the point where humans can fly freely. Even pioneers can't. At that moment, Feng Yi narrowed his eyes at the path ahead. That's the dark zone, isn't it? Shrouded in darkness. Even with all the barriers in place, you can feel that suffocating aura bleeding through. The married woman gagged slightly. Ugh, this stench is 1,000 times worse than that monster we fought last night. As they drew closer, they saw that quite a few pioneers had already gathered. Lin Yi muttered, I doubt this is just about the reward. Just like last night, dark attribute beings are vicious and bloodthirsty. They hate humans to the core. And lately, the city has seen more than one violent outbreak from them. Feng Yi nodded. Exactly. I fought 2 dark attribute abominations head-on. One was a mutated hare, though it looked more like a massive gnawing rat. The other was a serpent lurking in the Zhuye factory. Smarter than the hare, it worked with others to build a kill trap. The Lingxia squad nearly got wiped out. He added, what's worse, as he said, they're cunning. They somehow avoid the army stationed along the city's borders. I don't know how they're pulling it off, but the frequency of dark anomalies inside the city is climbing fast. It's getting out of control, which is why we have no choice but to go. Meanwhile, Su Qingying was waiting by the gate. Suddenly, a familiar figure caught her eye. She froze and blurted out, holy crap, he's here too, and with 2 girls. Her men were baffled. Boss, what's wrong? Su Qingying quickly turned away, muttering a desperate prayer. Buddha, please, don't let him notice me. But before she could finish, Feng Yi's voice came from behind. That's Captain Su, right? Busted, Su Qingying forced an awkward smile. So it's you. Didn't expect you to show up in the dark zone, but I suppose that's good news. In truth, she'd already read the army's file on Feng Yi. The married woman leaned in and teased. Master, this girl isn't Yi's sister-in-law, is she? Su Qingying's face went crimson. No way. Total misunderstanding. Feng Yi casually explained. Of course not. She's just Captain Su from the association, helping me run errands. His words, however, stung her pride. Just then, a harsh voice cut through the air. A bunch of kids so arrogant. Today's pioneers are younger and ruder than ever. Don't even greet your elders. And you think this is a place for banter? I only hope that when you're in the dark zone, you can at least count on each other. The married woman's temper flared instantly. She rolled up her sleeves. What did you say? Do you even know who these people are? Feng Yi shook his head, silently telling her to hold back. She snorted, stepping forward. Old man, mind your own business. For all you know, you'll be the one screaming in fear later. At that moment, the distant honk of a horn echoed. The old man sneered. The transport's here. Let's see. An armored vehicle pulled up and came to a halt, its doors slowly swinging open. The group immediately recognized the figure stepping out. It's Sister Garan, really her. Her overwhelming aura silenced the crowd. The married woman whispered in awe. What the hell is her identity? Such a grand entrance. Feng Yi smirked. Most likely the one opening the gate for us. Hearing that, Garan shot him a sidelong glance. She then strode straight toward the massive gate. Raising her palm, a cylindrical stone floated above her hand. In the next instant, the energy gate flared and opened with a sharp whoosh. As the dark aura surged outward, Garan's voice thundered. Everyone's here. Open the gate. Garan turned to the crowd. You may enter now. One crucial reminder. The Shirtsue flower must be harvested whole and free of human blood. If it's tainted or incomplete, the reward will be void. If there are no objections, begin. As they stepped in, the red-clad uncle kept grumbling. Damn it, she won't go herself but sends us to die. Not even death benefits or compensation. What kind of attitude is that? A teammate tugged him back. Old Deng cut it out. If we die in there, the report will just say we went missing. If the government paid your family a fat stack for no reason, wouldn't that be the same as admitting they killed us? Watching them file inside, Su Qingying whispered to Fong, that middle-aged man seems to be on your level, early Zhaoling realm. And a few of the silent ones feel stronger, but they've suppressed their aura, hard to gauge. The rest are mostly solid pioneers in Ghost Act stage, 2-star, 3-star. Each team is about equal in strength. Fong Yi nodded, muttering inwardly, so the mission really is this dangerous. They've gathered all these elites. But wait, that guy's Zhaoling realm too? His aura felt far from refined. On Garan's side, a subordinate reported, Sister Lan, the count is done. 37 at Ghost Act stage 2-star, 12 at 3-star, and 3 at Zhaoling realm 1-star. The anomalies we expect range from B class up to S class. Garan nodded firmly. Good. Head to the monitors. My preparations are complete. Rest easy. Moments later, everyone slowly vanished into the dark zone. Along the way, Lin Yi and the married woman kept their mouths covered, both looking nauseous. Fani called out, stay close. The dark attribute here clouds your vision. If we spread out, we'll get lost fast. No sooner had he spoken than the married woman collapsed to her knees, vomiting. Sorry, I really can't hold it in. Su Qing hurried over, patting her back. Don't worry. The stench is a mix of rotting corpses and brain matter. You're not the only one gagging. Look at the others your level. They're puking too. She went on. Dark attribute is a natural counter to pioneers. Think of it as contamination. And inside the dark zone, anomalies are hyperactive. By current classification, a B-class anomaly is roughly on par with Ghost Act stage, manageable in damage. An A-class equals Zhaoling realm, common where spiritual energy riots or concentrates, like here. S-class anomalies rival Vajra realm or beyond, each one a walking catastrophe. And remember, dark attribute adds a buff. What's rated B-class outside? And here we'll fight at least one grade higher. Hearing this, Lin Yi gasped. I never knew that. So that's how it works. I get it now. But Captain Su, how are you fine? Su Qingying chuckled. You're overthinking it. My squad often handles these cases. We're used to the stench. And lately, I forced a breakthrough, mutated from water attribute into ice. Lin Yi frowned. Since we're on the same level, Captain Su, don't you feel it too? The moment we stepped into the fog, my spiritual power dropped drastically. Worse than in my last mission. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Su Qingying nodded in agreement. Many experts have already fallen here, even military elites at early Zhaoling realm. We must be extra careful. The silhouettes ahead are gone. Let's move closer. From here on, I'll speak less to save energy. Focus your spirit power and don't let the fog exploit any gaps. Fani thought to himself. Strangely, I don't feel as uncomfortable as the others. Seems the enchanted boost of my solar and thunder attributes counteracts the darkness. Or maybe it's just that after reaching Zhaoling realm, my spiritual force works better. On the other side, Old Deng burst out laughing. So, this is all the Dark Zone has? Brothers, the Shirtsue flower will be ours first. Let's show these kids what true strength looks like. Fani glanced back and noticed Lin Yi gagging, on the verge of vomiting. He sighed inwardly. Still just a kid. Placing his palm lightly on her back, he released a golden aura that wrapped around her whole body. Lin Yi gasped. This feeling, all the nausea and that icy corrosion vanished. It's like basking in the winter sun, so warm. She marveled, no wonder. This is the power of Zhaoling realm. Fire attribute really is rare and comforting. Since breaking through Ghost Act's 3-star, I've grown more attuned to attributes. My grasswood attribute draws on nature's dew. Captain Su's mutation from water to ice is just as rare. Fong Yi corrected her calmly. Not fire, solar. I should have explained earlier. The incidents at Qingchang University's North Gate and playground? That was me. But solar and heavenly fire differ slightly. Su Qingying froze. Wait, you're admitting it? Then you're wielding 3 rare advanced attributes. Fani knew he still had his barren attribute hidden. The tallest tree is the first to fall. Better keep a trump card. Out loud, he only said something like that. Seeing Lin Yi so relieved, the married woman leaned over eagerly. Boss, I haven't even hit Ghost Axe 3-star yet, so my sense of attributes isn't sharp. But I'm on the metal path. Big bro Fong, I swear I'll stop teasing you. Warm me up too. Fong, he smacked her back casually. Fine. One day of warmth. Watching them patting each other, Su Qingying's subordinates were utterly confused. Fong, he turned to her. Captain Su, want your squad to try as well? Seeing Yi and the married woman's reactions, the others chimed in. Why not, boss? Give us some too. In moments, they all exclaimed in unison. Whoa, this feels amazing. Just then, a rustling of footsteps echoed nearby. Fong, he barked, stay alert. An anomaly is coming. Su Qingying instantly launched a surge of energy. In a blink, an anomaly manifested right before the married woman. Su Qingying cried out, careful, it's an A-class anomaly. She conjured several ice lances and fired them with deadly force. Yet when the barrage ended, the creature had vanished. She frowned. So slippery it disappeared. Fong, he suddenly noticed countless blood-red eyes materializing, dark energy streaming toward them. He warned sharply, watch your footing. Then he drew his tang blade, shouting, clear the way. His eyes ignited with blazing light. With a sweeping strike, 2 fire dragons roared forward. In one devastating blow, the anomalies were reduced to ash. Faintly, their screams lingered, too hot. Don't burn me. Fong, he sheathed his blade and turned back coolly. We're safe for now. That swarm was only 2 creatures. What's shocking is they've already evolved to mimic human speech. Su Qingying thought grimly. Maybe it's because they've devoured so many humans. These anomalies learned to mimic us. Even the weakest of them has been nourished by the Dark Zone into something at Secret Realm level. Without Zowling realm strength, you can't face them head-on. Meanwhile, everything was clearly observed by Garan. She marveled inwardly. 2 illusion beasts crushed in a single strike. Even I would have needed several exchanges to subdue them. Lin Yi warned sharply. If Captain Su is right, then we need to stick close. I suspect these anomalies can disguise themselves among us, waiting for us to drop our guard before striking. Sister, get up quickly. The married woman was still shaken. That oppressive aura, scarier than cat demons or zombies. Even a touch would burn me alive. Is this what realm suppression feels like? I can hardly breathe. At that moment, Fong Yi caught strange noises from ahead. Lin Yi perked up. Do you hear it? Doesn't it sound like waves? No sooner had she spoken than the ground began to quake violently. Ahead, several practitioners were already sprinting for their lives. One of them fired desperately while yelling, forget shooting. Run. This thing is cursed. Fong Yi's group finally saw it clearly. Their faces turned grim. It was none other than the Dark Tide, the same force that had devastated even legendary army units. As it rolled forward, survivors screamed and scattered in blind panic. Yet old Deng suddenly stopped, cursing loudly. Dark Tide, my ass. Just because the regular army couldn't handle it, doesn't mean I can't. Damn it, this will all be mine. With that, he unleashed his spirit shield and charged headlong into the tide. But within seconds, he was swallowed whole, still roaring, no, this isn't just A-class, not even just S-class. Don't let it catch you. Don't you dare. His voice vanished as he was consumed, along with countless others whose screams echoed before being drowned in the darkness. Watching this, Fong Yi's group paled. That suffocating darkness. Are they all gone? Can we even outrun it? He turned to Su Qingying. Captain Su, what exactly is the Dark Tide? Su Qingying's face was stricken. The Dark Tide is the ultimate form of darkness, pure corruption that devours everything. Even anomalies are consumed. But this mission was timed to avoid Tide Day. Gods, the entire front line is wiped out. Lin Yi's voice trembled. So this is the Dark Tide? I've only read about it in forums. Power strong enough to erase a city. Cousin, should we fall back? Do we still have time? Fong Yi suddenly released his aura, steady and commanding. Don't panic. This barrier suppresses darkness. If needed, pour your spirit power into it together. We can hold against the tide's assault. Su Qingying cried out, what are you doing? The Dark Tide is condensed darkness itself. With our strength, we can't possibly hold it back. That Zowling Realm Master just got swallowed whole in seconds. But Fong, he had already unleashed both lightning and fire. So what if it's condensed? I'll wipe it out myself. With that, He shot forward like a blazing arc of light, straight into the tide. Su Qingying's eyes widened. Did I hear that right? Is he actually trying to destroy the dark tide? By then, Fang Yi had plunged inside. The deeper he went, the thicker the suffocating blackness became. He glanced around and sneered. Just as I thought. These anomalies aren't just basic dark type evolutions. They're fused abominations, upgraded composites. From B class to A class to S class. And this entire tide, calling it SSS class, wouldn't even be an exaggeration. No wonder it devours top-tier Zhaoling cultivators so easily. Lightning gathered in his palm. A heartbeat later, thunderbolts exploded around him, blasting back the darkness. When more anomalies lunged, he unleashed his Yang attribute, cutting them apart with a single strike. Fang Yi thought to himself, with Zhaoling power combined with my enhanced weapon, what once took a drawn-out fight against the B-class Serpent Jia, I can now wipe out A-class composites in a single blow. As he pressed forward, a faint figure came into view. Wait, that looks familiar. Old Deng, are you still alive? To his surprise, a faint groan answered. Fang Yi quickly judged his spirit power hasn't been completely consumed yet. His foundation isn't as solid as mine, but he's still truly Zhaoling realm. There's a sliver of hope. Fang Yi raised his hand and roared. Divine thunder, hundredfold refinement. A colossal thunderbolt slammed into the anomaly, restraining Deng. The blast ripped it apart, freeing the man at last. Fang Yi glanced at him and muttered, barely alive, but at least salvageable. Yet in the very next moment, the shattered anomaly regenerated with a sickening SHHK, reforming in front of them. Fang Yi's face darkened. Endless regeneration? So that's the trait of anomalies beyond S-class. He narrowed his eyes. Then let's see if I can extract it. He extended his hand, deliberately dropping his spirit shield. The system chimed, scanning extreme dark attribute detected. Power unique. Extraction temporarily impossible. Hearing the system's prompt, Fang Yi felt a wave of frustration. Even at the Zhaoling realm, I still can't extract dark attributes. As expected, darkness is far more special than the rest. If I can't wipe it out completely or absorb it directly, then I'll just have to try another way. He sighed inwardly. If only I had little white flower here, I could pit the power of desolation against this darkness. But without that, what else can I rely on? Then, a spark of inspiration flashed. He smirked. Wait, don't I already have something right here? On the outside, Lin Yi anxiously asked Su Qingying, Captain Su, have you ever seen anything like this before? Su Qingying shook her head. No, my experience is limited. I've never seen the dark tide actually freeze in place. Suddenly, Lin Yi shivered violently. What's happening to the shield? This is too weird. Even when I faced ghost vines, I wasn't this shaken. But here, this place is crushing me. My cousin's been in there so long. What if something happened to him? Su Qingying patted her hand reassuringly. His spirit barrier is still holding. It just flickered. We'll reinforce it together. Besides, if someone with his power really falls, then the rest of us are nothing but collateral anyway. He added dryly, a man holding multiple broken tier attributes. Honestly, I suspect his real strength is already at Zhaoling 3-star. Way out of reach for little shrimp like us. Lin Yi finally relaxed, even laughing. Captain Su, you really know how to joke at a time like this. But just as they spoke, a brilliant pillar of light erupted from the heart of the dark tide, spearing into the heavens. It was Fang Yi's newly awakened technique, 9 Dragons' Heavenly Fire Seal. His entire body was now wrapped in raging lightning. Seeing this, the married woman shouted in excitement. Yi, look, it's your cousin. But wow, that move is way too cool. From afar, Garen also witnessed it, gasping in awe. That's a Heavenly Fire Seal? He actually sealed the dark tide, as Fang Yi poured thunder and lightning into the formation. He roared 9 Dragons' command, seal it. With a thunderous boom, the massive fireball slammed down into the earth. Before their eyes, it shrank rapidly until only a fist-sized ember remained. Fang Yi glanced at old Deng collapsed on the ground. For now, it's safe. As for this stray survivor, what should I do with him? Just then, Lin Yi rushed forward, eyes sparkling. Cousin, you're all right. Thank goodness. Su Qingying stepped up beside them. Leave him to my team. We'll take care of it. You just sealed such a high-level dark attribute. Big guy. Why don't you look happy at all? Fang Yi stayed silent, and Su Qingying thought to herself, he actually did it. He really wiped out the dark tide. This man is way too strong. After a moment, Fang Yi finally spoke. Because it's only a temporary seal. The darkness here is far too dense. We have to move fast. While the seal still holds, we need to grab the Witherdew flower. Su Qingying nodded firmly. Got it. We'll take this survivor back to the Lingxia treatment unit. But what about the others up ahead? Did no one make it out? Fang Yi scanned the ground, his tone cold. Not even a scrap of cloth or bone left. Aside from this man, everyone else has been devoured by the darkness, regardless of their realm. The married woman muttered with a shiver. They were just alive moments ago. Now, all gone. Maybe I'm cold-blooded, but part of me is glad I didn't have to watch them die. After explaining, Fang Yi told Yi and the married woman, you two follow Captain Su. The real danger is still this black pool. I'll take the rear. But as Fang Yi stepped closer to the pool, the system suddenly chimed. Strong dark attribute fluctuations detected. Reaching out his hand, another prompt followed. Detection complete. Initiating ultimate computation, compiling. In the next instant, energy surged violently from the pool. Then, it poured straight into Fang Yi's body. Once every trace of that energy was absorbed, the system declared, compilation complete. You have obtained a dark attribute technique, infinite dark domain. Conjure a sealed space of black mist where spiritual energy is corroded by darkness, drastically weakening existing spirit power. Fang Yi read the panel and murmured, a domain, a special field. So as long as I deploy infinite dark domain, my enemy's spirit power will erode, their attacks growing weaker. And if I stack this with my other attribute techniques, the debuff will be even stronger. With that, even anomalies more twisted than the dark tide could be annihilated across realms. Feeling the shift in the air, Su Qingying glanced back. Big guy, do you feel it? The black mist, it's rising again. But when his eyes landed on Fang Yi, his face froze in shock. That spiritual fluctuation, was he breaking through again? But there was no heavenly phenomenon this time. Don't tell me, he actually absorbed the power of the dark tide. Rated above S-class by the officials? That's absurd. During the prelude of the spirit revival, every pioneer learned the same truth. The dark attribute is the most terrifying, born from the malice and negative emotions buried in every living being. That's why absorbing it was officially forbidden. The authorities once tried to purify and refine dark energy, but the attempt ended in disaster. Since then, all dark anomalies were put into a separate category. Though ranked from D to S, even a D-class dark anomaly could torment a beginner ghost axe cultivator. And the dark tide? It could erase 10 Constellation Realm pioneers as easily as dust. Back when it wasn't outlawed, some pioneers dared to test it. One ghost axe, 3-star absorbed just a trace of C-class residue. He went insane instantly, skin rotting, mind shattered. He's still locked away in an asylum. Moments later, Fang Yi finished absorbing and descended back to the ground. He fixed his gaze on the shadows. Come out. You've been watching us long enough. Out stepped Garan, her eyes sharp. Fang Yi, you sealed the dark tide, didn't you? And just now, were you absorbing dark energy? Fang Yi didn't bother hiding it. Yeah. The next instant, Garan's hand flicked. She pulled a weapon and leveled it straight at him. The married woman gasped. Garan, what are you doing? Su Qingying hurried to block in front of Fang Yi. If I'm not mistaken, Fang Yi is the very candidate your military wants to recruit. We at Lingxia tried, and you snatch him first. What's the meaning of this? Fang Yi calmly moved her aside. Strange. Our mission is to find a Witherdew flower, isn't it? You seem desperate to finish the job. Yet now you look upset that we survived. Garan kept the gun raised, eyes unwavering. The married woman snapped. We trusted you all this time. Why didn't you help when we were nearly wiped out? If not for Fang Yi, we'd all be corpses. Yi's just a kid, and you stood by doing nothing. Now you turn your gun on him? But then, Garan holstered the weapon and smiled faintly. Relax. Just a joke. It seems your team really trusts you. Congratulations. You've passed the test. Hearing that, both the married woman and Su Qingying froze, embarrassed. Fang Yi narrowed his eyes at her. So your goal was to test me? Garan nodded. Pretty much. With your talent and strength, I didn't want to rely on cold reports. I wanted to see with my own eyes what kind of man you are. She added, as for why I didn't step in, pioneers must abide by the rules of the revived world. Life and death shift in an instant. That is our fate. But you're fortunate. You've got someone worth trusting and strong enough to shield you. Didn't you notice? No anomalies have dared to approach since you sealed the dark tide. That's the truth of the dark tide. It bullies the weak and fears the strong. Turning away, she beckoned. Gulme, I'll take you to the Witherdew Flower. I know this place better than anyone. Feng Yi followed, frowning to himself. This woman, she might actually be unhinged. Su Qingying edged closer and whispered. Her squad ran into the dark tide too. In the end, she was the only one who made it out alive. Hearing Su Qingying's words, Feng Yi finally understood. Her cold obedience came from her role, bound by duty and rules. Her self-destructive edge, from the scars of losing her squad. What kept her alive was a stubborn faith. But when she saw him seal the dark tide, it broke the dam inside her. With a sigh, Feng Yi said, forget it. Let's cut this wounded soldier some slack. Her spiritual barrier is badly damaged. She's at least Constellation Realm 2-star, yet her shield feels 2 tiers weaker. That kind of drop means serious internal injuries. Garion overheard, paused, and turned back. Thanks, but my wounds don't matter. Soon, the group reached the heart of the dark zone, a desolate graveyard of bones. On the way, Feng Yi's gaze locked on a corpse. Something about it felt wrong. Just then, Garion's voice rang out. We're here. This is the graveyard. She pointed ahead, eyes burning. Look, that's the Witherdew Flower. Without hesitation, she strode toward it, not even glancing at the lurking anomalies nearby. Her lips trembled with a murmur. At last. I see you again. Feng Yi stiffened. Her movements were off, dangerously off. His palm flared with power as he shouted, Wake up! A surge of energy shot forth, slamming straight toward Garion.